Yes, we are on the USS Yorktown, an enormous chunk of metal, and we have experienced some computer issues, and you probably figured out that we froze everything up right there. We're back live here, the Gill College Sailing North Americans. Sorry about that, the Gill College Sailing Nationals here in Charleston. And we actually have the B Division, Race 5B going on. Please go online and look at the results. Go to collegesailing.org and see that Georgetown's actually in the lead, BC in third, Dartmouth having a great regatta. And in this race, they rounded in the top two, maybe. Is that a 10? Yes. Look at Dartmouth with the green top on their sail there. Boat 10 rounded second. In first up there, BC. So, you know, Georgetown, BC, and Dartmouth really came out to play today. Darn, we don't have the Dartmouth sailors up online there, so I don't know exactly who's sailing for Dartmouth right now. This is the B Division, so I am going to guess that it's Patrick Floyd and Madeline Cooney. That will be my guess. So it's quite a tight pack as we go down here. It is hard to see the numbers there. What the crews are doing right now, some are standing and some are sitting. They have to hold the booms because the booms are too heavy. And yeah, the booms are too heavy, and we got to just hold on to them. Some are sitting down. I'm surprised not more crew looking back, but the wind is not streaky. The wind is quite steady. So if you go online, you will see the results that you see in front of you. You can see Georgetown really came out firing. Sean Segerbloom in B, Campbell Deliscu in A, Dartmouth having a great day. BC, Erica Reinecke, wow, 1495 there. Yale, they're hanging in there. They have not turned it on yet. They are not getting their name called a lot here. Charleston actually had a couple moments where they were up there and then they, you know, just lost a little by getting out of phase a little. Yeah, Stanford, BU, Hobart, amazingly close here, folks. So you have to remember that we're going to do 36 total races over the next 2 days. We are going to do, that's a full round robin if possible in both divisions. So we're about a minute, 2 minutes from the gate buoy for race 5B in Charleston. And Dartmouth has taken the lead, guarantee. Outside, BC has lost quite a big loss. BC rounded first, and they're on the way outside there. They're a good 10 seconds behind after this mark. So Dartmouth will go around the right gate buoy, head for the Yorktown here. And also, it looks like possibly the boat behind them, maybe Dartmouth. 10 is, oh my goodness. I was calling it wrong there, guys. Tufts is 10, Dartmouth is 7. So Dartmouth coming in there, I think they're going to come in there very well. So, Tufts Jumbos coming in boat 10. They're going to round not as far ahead as I thought. It turns out that BC is going to round first at the left gate. So, even there, slight advantage to BC. Roger Williams coming out, barreling out from the right. Yale in 16, barreling out of there well. GW 9. Charleston 2 had to tack out. Tufts playing it safe here. They knew they had a pretty good lead, so they're just going to step up here and make sure that they stay at least second here. They've only got one boat on the left. We can't quite read that number coming straight at your picture there, straight into the Yorktown here. I can't read that number, and you could probably tell the pennies if you've got young eyes. Yeah, so Dartmouth there in 7. Looks like they got decent pressure there. Moving a little further left out there, little further outside is our leaders. just coming into your screen there is our leader 10. You can't quite see him. So the wind has backed off just the tiniest bit, but we still have enough breeze. Luckily, that lighter than normal current is kind of saving us, folks. If we had a normal king tide day today, we would be sitting at the beach right now. There you go. Tufts just crossing ahead of Dartmouth there. Dartmouth ducking BC. So we've got one heck of a race for the top three, then we've got a little gap coming in there. Oh, there we go. Who's 15? That's a great shot. Coast Guard there. Haven't called their name many times. Oh, it looks like they put Jacob Rosenberg in for Stanford. So it does look like they made a switch there with their B division. Jacob, a freshman, again from ABYC, that club in Long Beach, pumps out a lot of good sailors. You know, Allie Bleacher, a great college All-American, former College Sailor of the Year, took over their program right after Brad Schoppeter, and those two really developed quite a thing there. Fordham, we haven't been calling them as much lately. Slow on the tiller, big roll there. Okay, so I think Tufts is out there still winning. It looks like, it does look like BC's going across ahead of there. So they've moved into second, Dartmouth into third. Dartmouth's even lost a little to Roger Williams in 8. So now it's a race for the top 4. Nope. Never mind. Never mind. You know, I don't know if Coast Guard was doing quite that well, man. They look like they're back up into the top 6, maybe. Okay, little port starboard here. Nice clean tack there. There's Coast Guard in 15 back there in 8th. Boat 4 has no lane inside there. That is not going to work. Boat 4 should stop. Okay, downwind there. So we again have the flooding tide heading for the bridge down there. Very good reference point for you guys out there if you're watching. Anytime you can get your bearings by seeing the beautiful bridge down there. So the downwind legs go a little faster than the upwind legs just because of that light tidal current pushing them along here. So we should be finishing up this race. Hector Guzman there, Hobart. South Florida outside of them. We are halfway down the run here. Sounds like a cruise ship heading out pretty soon. Head out on a Thursday, come back on a Sunday night maybe. So tons of people to thank over the next couple of days. We really want to thank the Yorktown. If you're in Charleston, make sure you visit over here. It's a great museum. Really inspiring seeing all these people who shaped our future defending us in World War II. This ship did. I believe it sank at some point. Maybe sank twice. You know, it recovered the Apollo 8 when those guys were returning from outer space early in our exploration. So visit the Yorktown. We're sitting on board here, U.S. Sailing Studio, with Deegan Media and Granite River Studios and all the staff here. Looks like Nick Baird there, nice and steady. We're heading for the finish. Heading for the finish in the B division. Race 5 for the B division here. Next one. Next time. Well, very good. So we've got coming into the finish here on our live stream covered, powered by U.S. Sailing. Tufts is going to win this race. You don't have the finish line in there. And yeah, Dartmouth in 7 is going to come in second. You're going to see the finish line come into view here very soon between a small white inflatable dinghy. There it is with the Charleston flag on it. And that white buoy. So the finish line, it looks like we may have had a lead change here. Looks like BC is coming in tight over there. That was neck and neck. We'll have to look at the results. I'd call BC got that. Big changes all the time there. Dartmouth in 3rd. Very good. Looks like Roger Williams in 8 got 4th. Bunch of boats crossing the finish line. Yale, again, just hanging in there. So, very square finish line. Very even. Great. That was an extremely close race. We're going to get ready. We're going to get ready to start the next race here. And I believe we're going to be starting race 5A. So you just saw 5B. And the A division is coming up next in their 5th race for 5A. Oh yes, we just got notification that they're going to do this 5th B race actually. Then they're going to give that group a short break. So we're going to actually see race 6B coming up next. So we're going to see that same fleet we just watched. A division just getting out to do their pre-race research. And man, I am looking at those results. Make sure you look at them because there are some freakishly good sailors in that. Man, oh man, there are so many good sailors out of the top 10 in each division. So this is going to be exciting, folks. We've got the championship here for ICSA going on. It's been a great week. We had the Women's Nationals last week. We had team racing over the weekend. And we had the semifinals for Coeds the last 2 days. And now here we are at the Gill National Championship. And very good. You've got the great view there across the Cooper River, kind of towards the northwest there, kind of the west-northwest is what you're looking at. That Ravella Bridge off to the right. Okay, so we are going to take a break. We will be right back with our live stream powered by U.S. Sailing. And
at first, it was a necessity to feed our families, to explore new worlds. And we became one with the sea. We harnessed the water and wind and used the stars to guide us. In that vastness, we created speed and discovered freedom. The sea called us, and our desire for adventure was too instinctive to ignore. So we did it for pleasure, camaraderie, and the challenge. We bestowed it to our children, and they to their children. Now, to know it is to know ourselves. We need it, no longer for survival, but to escape, to pursue adventure and overcome nature's elements, to match wits against those who share the same calling, or to simply glide across unbroken water in peace.
Jeff still there? Hello, John Rogers. I'm good.
So we've got John Pierce here. He is the U.S. Youth Development Director. Welcome,
Youth
John.
Director, yeah, correct.
That's great. Have you been watching, John? Have you been watching the live stream?
I have, yeah. I've been watching most of the day today from my desk here in Portsmouth, and I watched as much of the team race as I could and some of the women's as well. You guys have been doing a great job. Thanks for putting it together.
Good. Yeah, we can talk on the phone later, and you can critique my performance.
I am a former commentator. I've been there before.
Yeah, so you coached George Washington for the past few years.
Right.
And then
yeah,
you
4 years at GW.
Yeah, and then you last year you took this new position with U.S. Sailing. What have you been doing for the last year?
Well, we're starting a new kind of entity within U.S. Sailing called the U.S. Sailing Youth Department. And so basically we're a little bit of an umbrella that oversees and organizes all the different youth-related activities for U.S. Sailing. So it's a bit of a change in terms of management style, in that the previously each program was managed by a specific person or a group of people, and now anything related to youth is all being managed by the same group of people. So it's been real busy, and right now we are just hammered down, getting ready for the summer season with all the championships and junior Olympic regattas and reach events and level 1, level 2, level 3 instructor stuff, and it's just full go here in the office.
Yeah, that's great. I've been in touch with you and listening to how you guys are revamping the Junior Olympic festivals and things like that. When a kid comes through that program, JOs and things like that, how do you make a transition into college sailing? What do you recommend for some of these kids coming through Club 420s and things like that? And what should they be looking for as they get to college?
Right. Well, I think, one of the big things is, doing a lot of different types of sailing a lot of different disciplines prior to college, taking advantage of the time as a youth sailor to learn, single-handed, double-handed, sail keel boats and triple-handed, to learn to windsurf or kiteboard. You're only young once, and I know I heard you on the live stream actually a couple days ago advocating for the exact same thing, because once you get to college sailing, you need that versatility. And once you graduate from college sailing, you're just a regular sailor at that point, and you need as many skills as possible so that you're going to be able to enjoy sailing for the rest of your life. So it's important not to specialize too early. It's you want to do as much different stuff as possible. Learn how to trapeze. Learn how to sail by yourself. And you and I, we're just totally on the same wavelength on that, John. So I always love hearing you talk about that.
That's great. And, this new term, adventure sailing, I think you guys are doing a lot of work on that to make it more than just the coaches taking the kids to the beach. So what are you guys doing on that front?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge kind of innovation, or it's really nothing new, but it's nice that it has a more formal name now. So many different sailing programs are starting adventure programs that are, not specifically geared towards racing. They're geared towards a variety of activities, and, just like we were just talking about, lots of disciplines, not getting too specialized too early, and focusing on having a lot of fun. So we don't yet have a curriculum for that, but there's a lot of curriculums out there and a lot of programs that are succeeding with that model. The feedback we get is that if you start an adventure sailing class and you follow the lead of some of the other programs that are doing that, you're going to have more registrations and more return sailors and better retention rates as well in the long run. So Nevin Sayre is a guy who he works with Bic, the Open Bic class, but he also does a lot of stuff with just adventure sailing in general. And he's a great resource. We have a great video on the U.S. Sailing website that he did from a presentation at the Sailing Leadership Forum in 2014, all about adventure sailing. So anybody who's interested should just Google that, Nevin Sayre Sailing Leadership Forum video, and they'll get everything they need out of that.
Yeah, that's just amazing. It sounds like your tasks are just so diverse. You've got to do it, the advanced racing, and now you've got to try to retain sailors that are not competitive.
Yeah. Well, one way to think about that, often in competitive sailing, we talk about the pyramid, and people working their way up the pyramid. But we also want to have a square, on top of that pyramid, that even sailors who choose not to race or not to excel for a higher level of racing still have lots of options in the sport and still spend a lot of time, enjoying sailing and learning new skills. So that's how we're thinking about it, and we're trying to develop some new products in the long term that will, be curriculums to help people do that.
That is awesome. And so let's shift back to college sailing a little, because you put
Totally.
we were one of the people that put George Washington back on the map.
Yeah.
And you were there when they created the varsity status, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I started the first year that we had varsity status. So the club team sailors and team leaders had already convinced the athletic department to support the team, and I was lucky enough to be the coach as the team gained varsity status and came into sort of a fresh group of hungry sailors. So it was definitely a really good experience.
Yeah, and if you were still coaching and you were to come to Charleston, what would you be saying to the team this morning on their championship morning?
Oof, that's a toughie. I think that at this level, these sailors are so well practiced, and they put in so much time at this point. You kind of want to be in a situation that you don't need to say much of anything. You really want it to be that the team culture kind of speaks for itself, and that the sailors are, they've already honed themselves to the point that they're going to be dialed in. That's the ideal, and I think the top couple teams are always going to have that, and particularly the veteran teams that have a lot of seniors and juniors they're going to have that. But if you have a younger team, you have to remind them that it's a learning process always, and that this is the toughest 2 days of sailing in the whole year, and it's the best opportunity to learn and improve your skills. And if you're constantly making small improvements all the way through the last race of the regatta, that's going to yield your best performance.
No, that's great. Now, I'd really like you to recognize anybody at George Washington who's kind of set the bar there and is the reason why you've researched the program. Is there anybody, more than one person, that you could list out and thank?
Well, there's dozens, but the team leadership, during the club days, Will Ricketson, who I'm lucky enough to work with here at U.S. Sailing, was the team leader at George Washington prior to my arrival, and he's now the communications manager for the U.S. Olympic team. So he's a big deal for all of us, and there's a whole bunch of other alumni who have done a great job. And then in terms of the current senior class, actually, who's graduating now, was the first recruiting class of the varsity sport. So towards the end of my first year, they all were recruited, and they came in during that second year. So, Brendan Shanahan and Colin Kennedy, Dan Delbello, Gabby Malik, Gabby Marquis, and Madison Olson were the 6 sailors that really set the tone with that first recruiting class. And, Brendan's out there right now sailing in A Division and had a really great regatta at the semifinals, and now he's duking it out with the top dogs here in the College National Finals.
Yeah, I'm going to keep you here for a while because you just messed up there by mentioning the names of these wonderful kids. Brendan, isn't he the Sportsman of the Year, the finalist for Conference Sailor of the Year this year? Is that true?
That's correct, yeah, correct. And he was the Mesa Sportsman of the Year, yeah.
Oh, Mesa Sportsman of the Year, yes.
So I think that makes
that's
him
incredible. And then
for the National Sportsman of the Year. I'm typically the person who wins the conference sportsman of the year is is then nominated for the national sportsman of the year. So definitely be excited to see how that works out.
Yeah, so we don't want to jinx him, but he just might get that one. He's a special kid.
Yeah,
And then Miranda, is it
absolutely.
true that she skippered in the women's and then is crewing in this event?
Correct. Yep. And she won A division at the high school nationals as crew.
Okay.
And then started skippering in college during her sophomore year. I kind of forced her to do that because I knew she had the skills. And yeah, I think she's out there in boat number 9 right now. Looks like she and Kai are having a tougher race, but lots to play for out there.
Yeah, and how do you say Kai's last name?
Friesica. It's a tough one.
Yes. Kai Friesica is someone I'm familiar with as well.
Yeah, great sailor, 29er sailor. Actually, he's a perfect example of the kind of versatile sailor that you want as a coach in terms of recruiting. He had the 29er skill set. He also had a good high school sailing career, and he knew how to sail lasers. And when he came into college sailing, he was basically already, pretty much fully baked. And he was a 29er crew. He wasn't a skipper in 29ers, but he was a crew. But he has that versatile skill set.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so now you're living in Newport, Rhode Island, correct?
That's correct. Yep, you got it.
That's good. And you have a baby now. How old is your baby?
He's 2. He's turning into a little boy, 2.5 years old. So shout out to Bennett.
Oh, that is great. Is he sailing already?
No. He's taking it easy, just doing 2-year-old stuff.
Well, that's great. Well, what's your next plans now at US Sailing? Do you have anything specific that you're doing in the next month or two?
Yeah, well, the championships season is coming up quick here. So we have the youth match race champs starting in less than 2 weeks in Fort Worth, Texas, and then the youth champs regatta in Corpus Christi, Texas, the week after that. And so that's a big one, obviously. Serves as the qualifier for the Youth Worlds for quite a few of the classes. And a lot to play for at that regatta always. Gotta love the youth champs. So we're just getting as prepared as possible and looking forward to a busy summer.
Well, that's great, John. We are so happy to talk to you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I
we
know
have some cool things in the works for this winter, especially in terms of coach education. That's a big topic that we want to assist with, and we recognize how important the sailing coaches and sailing instructors out there are. So, we're hoping to bolster that with some additional resources. And, I got to say that the U.S. sailing team is making some really big strides with some great coaches coming on board. We have Malcolm Page as the chief of Olympic sailing right now, just started, and he's bringing in a really amazing group of coaches to work with our athletes. And one of my goals is to take those great coaches and, get their skills shared, help them share their skills with some of our younger American coaches. The college sailing obviously has a great group of coaches and very consistent, dedicated group. But, we really need to make coaching attractive and highly professional option for top sailors. And hopefully some of these sailors that are sailing in nationals right now will share their knowledge, become coaches and go out there and share with the younger sailors in their area. So it's really critical, and definitely keep your eyes peeled for some options there. John, we'll definitely have to get you involved. You're a great coach yourself.
Thank you. And yeah, I really want to give a big shout out to U.S. Sailing, because hiring a multiple-time Olympic medalist to lead the U.S. Sailing team, and then hiring John Pierce to run their youth development, and then sponsoring this event and providing the live stream for everybody around the world. I think U.S. Sailing's done a great job, and I really thank you for being here, John.
Yeah, hey, my pleasure. We're trying super hard. There's a lot to do. It's a big sport, and we're working our tails off. And I want to give a shout out to all the volunteers who volunteer for U.S. Sailing or volunteer at sailing events like the College Nationals. to make these events happen, because it really does take a lot of people and a lot of energy to make this sport go. But a lot of exciting things ahead, and looking forward to watching the last day of racing tomorrow.
Yeah, we can't wait either, and we're proud of the work you're doing, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks a lot, John.
Great. Okay, thanks, John. Take care.
Okay, take care. Well, that was just awesome to speak with John Pierce. I have a couple of kids who have joined the George Washington team, and right after they found out that they were accepted to George Washington, they found out John Pierce was going to U.S. Sailing. So they're very happy there, but John, just a great coach, and we're really glad to have him there. U.S. Sailing did a great job snatching him up and getting him to go on that program, because it is not easy. It is not easy. They have many mandates there, trying to develop the adventure sailing and the Olympic development program and the STEM program, all these different components. And I have to agree with them. I have done some coaching with U.S. Sailing recently. I've also done some understudy work with some of these coaches that they brought in, Mark Littlejohn and Grant Spanicky-Fuzz, and Leandro Spina has been there for a while. And man, I can't even name them all, but did some understudy work with them too, so I could develop my own skills in coaching. Never stop learning as a coach, and I got to say U.S. Sailing has really ramped up that Olympic program in such a short term. Charlie McKee was in for a long time helping that process, and we're just very lucky to have all these sharp people working for us. So welcome, here we are, Gill, Coed, College National Sailing Championship. It's been amazing. I was on the phone with John, so I am not certain what race we are in. I do see that we are on the B division at the windward mark, and that is race. Yes, the B division just finished up there, so it looks like we had 16 and 17 up there winning that race. There you go, Navy and Yale, as you can see, with your things on the side there. So that is race 5B, I believe. In race 5B, looks like Charleston had a good race up there. Dartmouth again, man, Dartmouth barely qualified. They tied for the last spot after winning a protest, which had them eliminated originally, and then they got in. And they just might be top 3 at this regatta starting out. Look at BC up there again, boat 3 and 10, and then the back of the fleet kind of coming in on your screen there. So obviously tons of people to thank. We're going to get ready for the next A division race coming up. They just went around the gates down there, actually. I hope we can swing around to the gates and pick up the A division as they come around here. There you go. Great shot there of the leader in that race. They have a big D on their back. Can you guess who they are? So out on the far right out there, you can't see them on your screen, but looks like boat 11 there. Hobart William Smith, probably 4th. So they're doing quite well headed this way. Yeah, just behind them. BU just behind them. There goes boat 7 out there tacking. That's the big D. Looks like the right hit in just as I opened my mouth there. Fordham banged out right. Dartmouth, they are bow to bow, neither making trees on either. They are bow to bow right now. So they are a minute apart. And I am going to say Fordham has just a nose out on this coming in from the right out there at the top of your screen. That's 6. That is behind Fordham, Georgetown in 6. And here we come. It is going back and forth. I don't know who's ahead. Right now they look bow to bow. There's Brown in 17th, actually, in the back of the fleet. They are just trying to keep it going here. Okay, so it turned out that the leader is the Big D, Dartmouth Big Green, and Fordham in second. We're still looking at Brown there. Great shot from Colton there, following him upwind. Very steady there. Okay, good. So there you go. 7 leading the race. Dartmouth, Fordham just tacking. Just to windward 11, Hobart. Georgetown in 6 is going to squeeze there. They're in the slow death position, or maybe in a little bit of the fast death position, which would be pretty straight behind. There we go. We are going to see a beautiful roll tack here very soon. Looking northwest there, out from Corey's camera. Corey's our windward mark cameraman. Another great skier, great ski cameraman there, getting great shots for us. Rounding the mark there. Going for another lap here, just as we suspected. Fordham around in second. It's closed up just a little bit here. Hobart, Georgetown, South Florida in 1. Very nice work there. Kings Point, again, my goodness, folks, we are going to have the closest scores today. Some teams that were unranked, there's 2 right there. South Florida unranked all season. Kings Point, U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, unranked all season. BU. Let's see where BU was going into this regatta. Yeah, BU was down in, actually BU was in 6th. BU went, initial rankings early in the season were 15th. They moved up to 11th at the second rankings, and then they joined up at the 6th ranking going into this event. So Coast Guard there in 15, Nicole Barnes. Nicole putting on a clinic last year in San Diego at the Women's Nationals, winning their division by A, and then promptly capsizing across the finish line in the last racing, creating a little bit of havoc. I think the one mistake they made all week last week was flipping like 4 feet across the finish line and having others scramble. Great shot there, Corey, looking straight northeast. Beautiful shots there. Look up your teams. Follow the results at collegesailing.org. We are very lucky to have Gill, a long-term sponsor of college sailing and a big-time collaborator with U.S. Sailing. You know, Gill just has such an extensive dealer network throughout the country to provide their customers with the best service and support. So visit gillna.com and find the dealer nearest you. You can get all of their products, even their new line of products, the next generation OS2 collection, which is technical with an emphasis on good looks, stylish, well-rounded clothing. I've been using Gill pretty much exclusively for the last 15 years. Their hiking pants are amazing. As I said before, their gloves, their spray tops, just everything is so well tested. And I still have my spray top from the Snipe World Championship in 2003. And so after winning that event, we wanted to keep wearing it all the time. It's kind of our good luck charm there. That is a pretty tight race outside there. Yeah, and you know, we're really excited. I met Matt from Gill last year, and we've called him again. One of the funnest times was to listen to kind of the technical side of that. We'll get Matt's input here a little bit later. He's on station here. If you're in Charleston, drive over to the College of Charleston Sailing Center. You can buy your Gill gear right here. Outside here, you've got Matt and Deborah stationing the Gill tent over by the Sailing Center, not on the Yorktown. So drive on over here and check it out. Walk around. Maybe this afternoon after school, bring your kids over. It's really good just for your kids to walk through this group and just kind of see the camaraderie and see the intensity and all the things that they could watch. Yep, so here you're going to be watching race 5A coming into the finish. This is actually closed up just a little bit here. So coming hard into the finish there. Dartmouth is still leading, but it has closed up definitely right on their tail. Fordham. Looks like Dartmouth is going to, hold on to this. You can see the left-hand end of the finish boat there just on the bow of 7. That's the left-hand end of the finish. They finished downwind on all of their first races of their rotations. Fordham, boom, tick in the water there on the jibe. Watch this one, 18, boom, tick the water. You can just see how consistent the boat handling is. They all train at different times in different places, but it all comes out to be very similar at the end. Great. Number 6 squeaking in over there, Georgetown. Yeah, looks like Hobart got in there too. Coming in soon after them. Roger Williams. Yeah, so right as we finish up this race, I had a really special opportunity to speak to just one of America's best sailors. He's got 2 kids here, and it's great to get his perspective on everything. So, America's Cup champion, just a great guy, former, I think, laser world champion many, many, many years ago. But I was able to speak with Ed Baird, Andrew Ty Baird, and Nick Baird's father, and we are going to send it over to an interview I had earlier with Ed. Hello again, John Rogers here. I'm here with Ed Baird, a father of 2 sailors. Who are you following here closely, Ed?
Well, yeah, I've got sons that go to school at Yale and at University of South Florida.
Great. And you were a skipper with Team New Zealand in the 90s and a skipper for Young America in 2000 and then winning team with Dinghy in the America's Cup. Really different racing than obviously what this is. What's your impression of college sailing? What are the great things about it?
Well, I've always enjoyed the college sailing format, the close, quick races and lots of intensity. Unfortunately, where I went to school and when I went to school, there wasn't a lot of option for me to do much of it. So I did sail single-handed a little bit, but we just didn't have much in the way of double-handed teams. So, but it's great to watch the kids do it, and we've watched them all through high school and joined in on that, and it's really good fun.
Yeah, so I know it's always a challenge as a parent to talk to their kids about athletics sometimes. Some kids take it, some don't, but I did notice you giving some advice at times. It seems like you got a good rapport with your children there. It seemed like, what type of advice were you giving them yesterday with those kind of light sea breeze conditions?
Wow, well, this is a current venue, so you really have to pay attention to what's happening with the current. It affects the wind, it affects the race course, all the ley lines, everything. So really we're just kind of looking around and talking about what they see and what I see. And together they take the situation and make their decisions on what to do after we talk it through.
Yeah, excellent. And so you have Nick at Yale. He was a all-conference sailor again this year, All-American, I believe, last year. And then you have Ty, correct, at South Florida. Yeah, we just interviewed them as well. And what do you think? Obviously, they have Zach Leonard and they have Alan over there and Allison Jolly coaching.
Yep.
Those coaches are great. What do you think they've brought to your children since, in your observations?
Well, probably the number one thing is that they occasionally say, your dad's not that far off with what he says, which is nice. But no, they really bring a great stability and just a lot of credibility from the years of they've been coaching great teams. And I mean, Allison is our first gold medalist as a female Olympian for the U.S. and in sailing, and Zach is he's just got a huge resume of things he's done. But both of them have had very successful teams, and that's important to understand how to keep the kids thinking about the right thing at the right time.
Yeah, that's the great thing about college sailing. So thank you, Ed. It was great to have you here, and enjoy the rest of the next 2 days. Championship Friday tomorrow is going to be exciting. And I'm John Rogers with Gill and Deegan Media and Granite River Studios. Thank you very much. Okay, that was just such a pleasure to meet with Ed. I've been able to watch Ed since I was a little guy. I think he wrote a book maybe on lasers, and then watching him in San Diego in the America's Cup. He was on Team New Zealand in '95 and Young America. Look up the Young America boat. Google search Young America 1995 and look at the Liechtenstein painting that they painted of a huge mermaid on the side of that boat. He skippered that boat. Then he went over to Switzerland and represented Switzerland and sailed for Dinghy, and they won the cup once or twice. So thank you, Ed, out there. It was just a great, great opportunity. So we've got 6 races already done in the B division. We're about to do the 6th race for the A division. I know that sounds backwards, but we did start with the B today. And I believe they do that because tomorrow it may come down to the last race in A to determine. So they want the champion sailors at the very end to, you know, for you to watch and make sure you are watching. Tomorrow is Championship Friday. And I tell you, the results tonight are going to be just fractions of points per race differences between these teams. You got to remember, over 36 races, if you just average 0.2 different, that could be the difference between first and 10th or 11th. It's just incredible. So I believe we're in sequence now. We've got it on screen there. We're in sequence for the A Division. The A Division all day has the big Gill logos on their FJ sails. The FJ being a little heavier boat than the Z420. They sheet them a little tighter. They're easier to sail. The lighter weight Z420s, you really, once you slow down, you've got to really change gears and to get it going again. Where the FJ, once it gets going, it's a little heavier. It just maintains momentum. It's a little easier to kind of keep going, believe it or not. Z420 has not a lot of momentum. So you got one boat right up there, right at the boat. Boat 3's is rounding an end. So we are under the I flag rule. I have a feeling that this is going to be some boats over early. I don't know if you can hear those whistles on the race course, but you have to remember that those whistles are taking a long time to get to our sound equipment here on the Yorktown. So if you think they looked over early, we're 2 or 3 seconds behind the race committee signals this far away. I know the cameras make it look like we're right there, but we are actually quite far back. So 16, beautiful start there. The Yale Bulldogs have decided to go ahead and bust out left. You know, yesterday there was a transition where the right was paying up when right was paying, and then all of a sudden it changed and the left was paying. And maybe they're putting their eggs in one basket and trying to guess that change time. So we are going to have our best wind of the day here on this beat. You're going to start seeing some crews sitting there, bums over the rail a little bit here. Yale is pinned, and they've got plenty of time here to eke off boat number 11 there, to squeeze them off. Hobart, 7 is in kind of a bad spot there. Quite fast death there for Dartmouth. So Dartmouth doesn't look like they're going to have quite as good a race. I do think that those boats up on the right of your screen, I mean the left of your screen at the top, are winning. That was going to be Charleston there. Okay, there's the Yale Bulldogs. Look at her hike. So they've got their light air crew in there. She's already hiking. So this flooding water is starting to pick up. More cold water rolling in, bringing a little more sea breeze in. It's so character building. Just having the patience to sit there and keep your wits about you when you know that boat 6 is ahead and you know that boat 2's ahead and 11's got you pinned. You know, it's just a matter of just sailing your VMG and kind of waiting out. 11 dropping into slow death there. You can see that they're just slowly dying. 17's going to hold Yale all the way out here if they want. That's Navy. Yep, so I really want to recognize these crew out here. I'm going to guess that Mary Morocco, a sophomore, is crewing for Patrick. Look at this hiking. So just like we thought the breeze was just going to come out. Now, if they don't sail those boats perfectly flat, the boat will have windward helm. In other words, if they let go of that tiller, the boat would tack. So you don't want to sail the boat like that. You want to sail the boat with neutral helm. So you've got to get that boat flat so that the boat will essentially sail straight. Hobart in 11, Yale in 16. Looks like they are doing quite well. I have a feeling Ian Barrows is trying to turn it on. This is his last regatta of college sailing. I did hear that he is going to join the very strong ranks of the U.S. 49er team. They haven't been breaking in hot yet, but I tell you, if you guys go to U.S. Sailing and you look at the U.S. Sailing team, and you look at all the 49er young teams that are coming out with Hans Henken again and Judge Ryan and, oh my goodness, David Liebenberg's back in there. And I mean, it's just the list goes on, and now we understand the Olympic representative's younger brother, Thomas Barrows' younger brother Ian, is going to be joining the 49er ranks. And I can't remember who he's going to be sailing with. I believe it's with another Yale sailor. Okay, coming into that mark 6. Georgetown, man. Campbell Delescu, a sophomore, just showed up today. Boys, they might be still winning, and he's got another bullet going on there. Charleston coming around in 2nd. Very good. There's Yale coming around in 3rd. Amazing patience there with Ian there. And he's in a precarious spot there. He's got a lot of boats on his tail, and he's having to reach. Beautiful shot looking across the Cooper River, and that is the downtown Charleston beyond there. And we definitely want to thank more people as we go along here. You know, to make this live stream possible takes a lot of people, and we have Light Y here with John Colby, and he's running around, and actually he's been very calm because he hasn't had to do much. As you saw earlier, we had a little bit of a crash, but it's been pretty steady the whole time. So John Colby, thank you at Light Y, providing the internet service for us so that we can bring you this great coverage powered by U.S. Sailing with the cameras on the water and the cameras off the water. It's great. And we will work with John again coming up this summer at New York Yacht Club with all of the J-Class Regatta and the Invitational Cup. You're going to want to follow that. 20 of the world's best amateur teams, all in Newport, Rhode Island. Live stream in Swan 42s, big boats. Okay, you can see the Charleston team there, rounded 2nd, but I don't think they're 2nd anymore. And looks like there was a little streak of breeze outside that they didn't get. And the only good news for them is that they are lined up for the right buoy in about 2 minutes, and they just might come out okay. So we call those transitions. When you see them going from wing on wing to the reach mode, you can see the transitions that they work. There's one. And what they're doing there is they're trying to do it with as smooth or a little rock as they can. You're allowed one rock. What we call illegal kinetics become illegal. Rocking becomes illegal under the rules when it is repeated. So on occasion, one rock to tack, one rock to transition is legal. If they were to add a 2nd rock there and the judges were to see it, they could potentially throw a flag on them. So Charleston looks like they may have recovered a little bit here, but they are not happy. They have let the leader just absolutely sail away. Okay, you're getting to the gates here. Left gate rounding for Georgetown. I would say that was a small gain for Campbell there. Okay, coming around, a big gain for 11 there. That's Hobart. Beautiful. At our near gate, BC going around. Surprise, surprise. I am going to call them 3rd place instead of Erica Reinecke. Man, I think they've been in 3rd place like 14 times today. And that's what you want. If you got all 3rds, you win this by a mile. So 3rds are just like 1st, man. Brown Bears there in 5, finally turning it on. They have not, I got to look at the results again, but they have not been up to their snuff there. Yes, thank you to everybody out there. We're starting to see more chatting. Please join us out there. Make sure you're pointing out things that maybe we miss. Crew names. Show some pride in your team and your kids. It's okay. You can put your, hey, I'm this person's father, and you keep mispronouncing their name or something, or thank you for covering them, or whatever you'd like there. So we've got Georgetown off the screen. They're so far ahead. And out there, Hobart in 11. BC still in 3rd. Looks like 10. Man, 10 came on here. Tufts having a good day? No, they're 3rd. Now the question is, you're on this race, what do you do if you're Erica Reinecke? Do you lee bow and lead back? And it looks like she is going to have to lee bow. So the crew would have been telling them a little while ago, pretty hard lee bow, so she's just going to squeeze it in there, get moving, and then she's put 10 into slow death. Ooh boy, beauty, look at that. On the FJ, the main barely moves. You see how they keep the main tight? They hold 2 hands on the main sheet there. Okay, Patrick doesn't look too nervous, but maybe the crew said something that wasn't great, so Patrick did a check-in there. He's underneath 16 there. So he's going to get rid of 16 there and be able to tack out 16 in slow death. He's already able to cross. So okay, both boats tacking. They are not looking great. I think Navy's going to be 7th, maybe 6th. So pretty good, actually. Yes, you know, U.S. Sailing doing so many different things. They're the proud sponsor of not a college award, but a Robert H. Hobbs Sportsmanship Award. And the Hobbs Trophy is awarded annually to the Sportsman of the Year. And it honors Robert Hobbs, a MIT graduate in 1964, and he was the past executive director of ICSA, past president of U.S. Sailing, and former chair of the U.S. Sailing Olympic Committee. And so it is a collegiate award, and it's going to be presented by U.S. Sailing Board member Martine Zuraniskas during the Coed award ceremony tomorrow on Friday. Very great, yeah. So remember, you got to tune in for the awards tomorrow night. We're going to name the College Sailor of the Year, among other things, and it will be shown to you on Facebook Live tomorrow night, the award ceremony. Okay, you can see the wind is kind of lighter right there. Teams just kind of coasting, now getting swept with the river down current here. Yes, so we are going to have a flooding tide here until 2:55. Yesterday was a little windier, so that tide time went beyond the scheduled time. Today it has not been as strong, where the flood and wind have been lined up with each other, so I don't expect it to go much past, maybe to 3:15 today for the flood, and then there'll be a slow change on the inside here. Wow, that is a great shot, Colton. Beautiful. There we go. So what we're looking for now is, you know, we're looking for the race committee boats to swing around the other way. So we should have already had, the tide change should have already started here, and it's gone on quite a long time past. I thought it looked kind of interesting. This day's gone by so fast, it's already 4:15, so we should have a switch. We should already have a switch in the tide. Yeah, so folks, we got off to a late start today, as you probably know. You were probably checking in regularly, and we are going to be here quite a long time, so do not go away. The good news is you can start wrapping up your workday and go over and maybe to your club or get your office buddies around and put it on the computer and learn a lot about sailing here. Watch the different angles. Watch the different teams, root on your team, so make sure you're watching, joining the chat here as you wind down your day at work. Maybe you can check out a little early there, but we are going to be here quite a long time. Yeah. still in the lead, but not much of one. There we go. Georgetown and Hobart and William Smith colleges. Greiner Hobbs there. Great guy sailing for Hobart. First team all conference. Greiner knows some people I know from the Tampa area. I used to live down there. We used to run a sailing program down there called Extreme Sailing down there in Punta Gorda. And we would head up to Tampa once in a while there. In Punta, we'd take people that were not dinghy sailors, and we would get them through 4 days on a 49er. It was quite great. Pretty gnarly. We had some good wipeouts there with some doctors and lawyers who keelboat sailors. Okay. Nice cover job here. Greiner's just going to tack back there. Yeah, so the day went by so fast. I mean, I think we're pretty slack here right now. And I am seeing the committee boat starting to turn slowly on anchor. So yes, we probably should see the ebb build here a little. It does look a little windier on the water up here. Boats moving quite quickly. As we get into medium wind, you will see the teams roll earlier in their tacks. You will see them roll extremely hard and really quickly flatten. So that's the hard part of the sport, and that's why these coaches use this live stream, and they have their own videos to train their teams. And they analyze and analyze and analyze, and then they develop a different tacking style for each different wind condition. And a lot of that's based on the crew position. So if the crew is sitting in a lot, then our rolls are very late in the tack. If our crew's hiking or starting to hike, we roll earlier. And then as it gets windier, we just let the boat steer itself and we roll very little on the tacks. There you go, Brown, in your shot there. Beautiful little shot there. Again, double-handed main sheet technique. You see how they do that? They've got the microphone grip on the tiller extension with the main sheet in their hand, and then it's up through their legs to their other hand, and that way they're just pulling the main with both hands. That way they can click it in nice and slow. There's a good shot. So there's your top 6. Pretty certain. I think 5 might have a chance at 7, so they're going to tack here. And we'll see how they do against boat 10 here coming into your screen soon. We'll see how they do against Tufts. 16 there is in about 5th or 6th. That's the Yale Bulldogs. So they have dropped from 3rd at the original mark. They are no longer 3rd. Last tack to the finish line up here for 6. Oh, they got Georgetown got passed by Hobart. So Hobart takes the bullet up there. Georgetown squeezing around head to wind. Beautiful. We can watch the current here. It does look like Ian Barrows is pointed down into the current, so it looks like it has switched just the littlest bit over here on the inside. There we go, shooting the line, BC. Yes. Coming in next, Navy. Very good job. So make sure you go check the results, folks. They'll be updated in the next 5 minutes. You'll be able to see the latest results. They just finished race 6 in the A division. There you go, boat number 5. Brown Bears. It sounds like, are we in sequence? I believe we're in sequence back here for the B division in the beautiful Z420s. So again, lots of thank yous to the College of Charleston here. Greg Fisher, amazing job with the help of his amazing team. I mean, they got 17 or 18 team members down here driving camera boats, driving judge boats, cleaning up trash, solving problems for anything that arises. So the entire team is down here working. The teamwork is not just for sailing. They have a lot of pride in their school, and they want this to go off great. So thanks again, College of Charleston, Ned Gosh, Greg Fisher, Creighton Walters of the endowment here. Great, great work. Okay, so you see some nice gaps to leeward of some people there. This is the B division. This is race 7B, folks. We have entered into the 7th races in a pretty short amount of time. It's pretty incredible. I mean, this is the start of race like 14 or something today, and we didn't even get started till afternoon. So pretty incredible work here by Ryan Davidson. 20 seconds to go. Remember, there's a delay in that signal. If you're hearing those horn signals, they are taking a while to get to us. We might start seeing people getting pushed over the line here. Beauty. Boat 4 up there with a great start. BC, boat 5 right next to them, also with a big gap to leeward. Georgetown, do you think they know how to start? Oh, look at that shot. Look at that shot. Awesome. And just beautiful racing here. These guys are bow to bow. I think everybody's raising their game here. 13 is in probably 6th or 7th place there. Santa Barbara, we haven't called their names too much. This is the B division, and sailing in the B division, Stephen Long, a great laser sailor from Santa Barbara. You know, that he's really performing pretty incredible well. I mean, that's a senior, a really instrumental family. Their father, John, has been the chairman, took over for me for the Dave Perry Series out there. The most competitive racing on the West Coast is the Dave Perry Series in Club 420s. John Long's taken that on, done a great job. And Matthew, his son, and Stephen, his son, sailing here, had a great qualifier yesterday, got Santa Barbara in. They were just out of the Nationals last year in this Coed, so great job there, Stephen Long. You can see him there. And he's doing okay, actually. We might be changing here, guys. This is going to be the first time somebody from the left is actually going to come out okay. I think 10 is going to tack here, possibly, and try to cross. Okay. I'm a little surprised Stephen just didn't wait that out a little longer. 10's just going to wait it out. He just wants a little congestion to go on, do a beautiful roll tack here, cross 6, and possibly be winning the race. So if Stephen's winning this race, he'll be the first guy today to make the left pay. Okay, here we go. 6. Okay, here's the moment. Oh, that was 10. Oh, Stephen's got it. Bullet there. Come on, sail away with this, brother. Yep, tacking to lure to him. Boat number 9. Tough. Have I said that today? About 40 times. Wow. Ken Legler, your team showed up today, man. It was a pleasure sitting next to you yesterday, and you're just like a history book of college sailing. You are truly the latest father of college sailing, for sure. You did such an amazing job at that high school nationals. The drone footage up there at MIT for the Coed Nationals, and your commentary was spectacular, and we were lucky to have that. Okay, it must be a tiny left phase. Almost everybody on port tack playing the phase. And this is where some of the people down to leeward are going to be squeezing, and some of the people up to windward, like Stephen Long there, is going to be pressing. Pressing means they're just sailing the heavy side of the wind. They're not pinching up at all. They're just flying their tails with a tiny bit of bow down, a tiny bit of what we call footing. And he's, you know, that because he knows he's just getting swept left by the time. Oh, results back up there. Surprise, surprise, the big green up there leading. Georgetown having a great deal. I got to think Campbell's winning. Campbell has just started incredibly there in Georgetown. BC, amazing. Only 1 out of the top 10 for Erica there. Yale hanging in there. I know those guys are pretty tight-lipped right now. I don't think Yale is feeling it right now, and I think they got to turn it on. Charleston hanging in there. So make sure you go to collegesailing.org. Definitely check. I wish some of these teams could get their names updated for us in there, because we really got to recognize the crews, and I'm having a hard time. Me being a crew myself, lucky enough to sail with some of the world's best sailors. and they always gave their crew recognition. John Kostecki, Vince Brune, Augie Diaz. Augie Diaz, extremely humble, always recognizing crew, and we want that to permeate throughout all the sport. All these champion sailors do what's right, and they recognize those teammates that they sail with that put in just as much hard work. Very good. It is slow going downwind now. The downwind legs now are going to be where we spread out. The upwind legs are where people are going to hold together. So with this adverse current, it's going to expose any angle steering weaknesses. So if one person's sailing a little too high or a little too low, this ebbing tide is going to accentuate that. And so I expect to see a little spreading out now. Okay, so luckily the pressure is so cool right here. I gotta say, being from Southern California, I am not used to muggy. Man, oh man, that little pressure build in here in the studio is just awesome, and they're feeling it out there too. You can see the boats actually making wing on wing, so you know it's gotta be 6 knots, 7 knots, and you know they're making plenty of speed against the ebb tide. GW, boat 10 in the lead. Great. I think they're doing quite well in this event too. Great shot there, the leaders there. And this is the A division, so that is the B division. I apologize. So that's Kai. I learned how to say his name earlier. Fuseke. Doing a great job. Nice little roll jibe there. They jibed out on the edge, you can see, because they're anticipating the current again. It's just so sharp. They just were patient. If the current was going another way, they would have jibed a long time ago. There you go. Ooh, 4. How did I miss them? Man, oh man. BC. Have we heard them before too? There you go. GW coming around in 10. Nice rounding. Be careful. Tide sweeping into that. BU, yes. Oh, great. Don't we love it when we see those young ladies out there giving people a run for their money? I don't know who that is. Who is sailing for them? They could be a couple of sailors for BU there. Yeah. Oh, great. There we go. Ventuski.com, everybody. It is a great thing. You can put in your location. You can see that the south wind has come offshore. Remember, we're where that little Charleston dot is, so that has a huge geographical impact on the sailing. But we're going to generally be southwest here. The wind bends around both sides of downtown Charleston, and but we should be at least in southwest. Look at that, hiking. Beautiful. Beautiful tack. Yeah, and Kai and Miranda Backus again. The leader must be off the screen there. Oh, I know what I did. I must have been calling somebody from the other fleet. Actually, George Washington was winning. I lost boat number 4. They must have been in the other fleet or something. I got a little confused. Okay, everybody watch Erica Reinecke here. Man, oh man, she can steer the boat with blindfolds. You know, that's just so awesome. That is a team right there. Both are calling tactics. This is not just a one sailor show on that boat. Okay, so BC did a nice tack there. George Washington coming back across the face of that cruise ship, which is heading out right now. And I think there's been a gain here on the left. I think BU has actually come into this thing. So we're starting to see the left pay. Coaches are adjusting right away. Yesterday, the left paid all the late races pretty much. Okay, there you go. Look at BU, man. That was a big gainer. They just got Lee-bowed by George Washington. So George Washington trying to put BU in the slow death position. Let's see if 11 backs off there and slows down. Even though BU's to windward, they're still in the vacuum created by the circulation off of the sails of boat 10 there. Yes, you can definitely see the boats going left to right. Do you see the range changing there? A sailor would call it, see that buoy and see how they're moving right to left? So we definitely are up over half a knot of current right now. And the range is changing. Our gauge is changing there. And that's something that a crew will line up something on. They'll line that buoy up with something on shore and be able to read that and then read that off to their skipper. Oh, we might be having Matt from Gill here in a little while. I just saw him walk in the studio. We're really lucky to have Gill here. Incredible gear. Make sure you get out there and get some of these spray tops, and next fall make sure you got your dry suits and all that stuff. There you go. So GW barely holding on with BU, followed pretty closely there by Tufts. And is that Roger Williams coming around in 7? Great. I think they're a little inconsistent, but they've been up there quite a few times. Georgetown, surprise, surprise, they had a first place start but not in first place. Stanford Cardinal in 14 there, coming around, beauty. Now what the sailors do is they reach to protect, and then you'll see them wing it. The vang usually gets cracked off a little here. We have less apparent wind going downwind as we head away from it. Imagine riding your bike upwind or downwind. You'll have more wind going upwind on your bike and less downwind. So for just that fundamental fact, general vang adjustment is just tighter upwind, looser downwind. And it's windy enough now that the crews are just sitting and not having to hold the booms out. And that's nice for them. Beautiful shot at the cruise ship heading out. That cruise ship is moving, folks. Going out. That is the Carnival Ecstasy. That is a beautiful shot. Everybody's in each other's slow death, essentially. So on those boats that are lined up like that, you think you're in clear air, but if somebody's to windward with their boom pointed at you, over a long course especially, it can be devastating. So let's see if that happens. There you go, 16. We're getting to call some other boats here maybe. Coast Guard finally right there, really on the outside, trying to hang in there. Boat 12, Hobart. Just in a little bit of slow death on Nicole there. 18, just far enough away from Hector there for Navy to not be in slow death. There you go. You see how they're spreading out slowly? Boats to leeward and behind, not behind, but a leeward and a beam can actually be in bad air, a tiny bit of bad air, and not know it. Those boats are quite far apart, so they're not affecting each other at all. And we are in B division in the Z420s today. All day today, the Z420s do not have the sponsor logo on them, and that's how you can tell who is who. The A division with the Gill on their logo. Oh, there we go. I had the wrong sailor. That's Dana Rohde right there. One of the best sailors in the country right there. A finalist for Quantum Women's Sailor of the Year, 2 from Coast Guard. And Coast Guard is the only team that has 2 women skippers here competing against the boys. Both skippers female. That is awesome. Yeah, look at that. Is that beautiful? The crew is just painting a picture right now. Yeah, that is just awesome. Okay, there you go. Look at that. We're coming to the finish, folks. You can't see the finish line yet. And boat 10 there, GW. Looks like they're going to take a bullet. The pride of John Pierce there. Going to bring it home for them in this race. Check the results. collegesailing.org. Oh, that was a first place job. Did you see the look on his face? He was like, I got this. He wanted everybody to see him finish this race off. There you go. Beauty. Nice move there. Boat 9. Tufts. us. Scott Barbano, I haven't said his name this week. He's a senior. He's second team all conference, and he won the Sportsman Award for the conference. Another amazing guy. There you go, the finish line there, the white inflatable and the white ball. There you go. Tufts going through. It looks like neck and neck with 5 and 7. So neck and neck between Roger Williams in 7 and Georgetown in 5. I'm going to give that to Georgetown, coming right up behind Stanford in 14. And Yale in 15. Again, Yale just hanging around that 5th and 6th spot over and over again. I'm sure they're not too happy. Yeah, a couple of great stories about George Washington there is, you know, oh good. So it looks like we are going to cut to a video about George Washington very soon. They were featured on NBC Washington. A great interview with their new coach, Billy Martin.
It's been smooth sailing for the George Washington Colonials this spring, and the magical season could culminate in a national title this week. News 4's Carol Maloney is here with more on the team riding quite the wave right now.
Yeah, George Washington, the campus located in the Foggy Bottom neighborhood, right in the heart of D.C., but one of its most competitive programs, traveling up and down the Potomac River. GW is a sailing school. Now you know. Only the 5th season as a varsity sport. We are keeping an eye on this team at Nationals this weekend.
Line up behind my boat. We'll do downwind on the whistle.
For me, the best part of being a coach is that this is my office.
His office, the Potomac. Not a bad gig for GW Sailing head coach Billy Martin.
To most people, this looks like vacation, but to us, we have goals, and like any competitive program, we know that we have to put the work in.
Thanks to that hard work, Martin's Colonials are making waves. In just the 5th year as a varsity sport, both the co-ed and women's sailing teams earned top 10 rankings this season, and the co-ed squad could be closing in on a national title this week.
It's a blast because you're out on the water, but it's also rewarding in the sense that you are doing something competitive. So that combination makes sailing definitely like the best sport.
Part of the secret to sailing success, staying in the moment. While the beautiful scenery could be an easy distraction for any of us, this team keeps its eyes on the prize.
Sometimes it's nice to take a water break and maybe have a granola bar and take a look at, you know, nice scenery, but you know, once the whistle blows and the drill is on, these kids turn on like that.
There are times when I'm out there and I'm like, this is the best sport in the world. The views are amazing. You're out there. It's beautiful, crisp blue skies. There are times certainly where I have to reel back in and say, okay, Brendan, we're still racing here. You can't get carried away with the scenery.
Brendan and the others competing at the Co-ed Nationals beginning today. Now, it's only the first day, but the Colonials are leading on their side of the bracket. Naval Academy is on top on the other side. Georgetown also competing.
All right. How amazing was that? The Potomac River, live coverage there, coverage from NBC on the Potomac. What great footage. I am lucky now to be joined by Gill's Matt Schoen, a regional sales director. Welcome, Matt. Thanks for showing up today.
Yeah, how are you? Thanks for having me.
That's great. And we've got Matt here to help us commentate a little, but also we get to see the new race series from Gill, all the gear that they have coming out, and so it's just great. So you've been sponsoring this for a lot of years, Matt, and
Yeah.
What's your role with this event?
So I specialize a little bit in event management with Gill, so I come around to a lot of events like this in Charleston Race Week, and I get to work kind of on the ground with our retail partner, which is Coral Reef Sailing Apparel. Deborah's over at the tent right now, getting ready to sell to the next customer that's on the booth. But it's an opportunity for us to work one-on-one with the sailors, see them face-to-face, show them the new product, hopefully make a sale and kind of make sure that they have what they need to compete at the optimal level. Obviously here in Charleston, there's all types of conditions. We had a ton of rain last week. We also had a ton of breeze on certain days, and having the right proper gear, gloves, boots, foul weather gear, it's all really important. So for us to be here and be able to sell directly to the customer is an added value.
That's great. Well, we're getting to look here at the A division with Gill on the sails. Great logo there, and you get to, you know, sales are great advertisements, aren't they?
They definitely are.
Man, all you companies out there, you got to remember these sales go up all the times.
It's a lot of added value for us to have the branding on the sails. We also do the bow stickers, which is in a lot of photos. And as a corporation, you know, for us, pictures is a big thing for sponsors to be able to use that in advertising. So having the sails for us is fantastic.
Yeah, we just had a general recall in those boats. So not surprising with the ebbing tide now. We've switched tides. It's starting to sweep up the course. We are going to see some starts that are going to be very difficult. We're going to see the I flag on that 17-foot whaler, which is swung around backwards there. Yeah. So while we're waiting here, we got 3 minutes. How about we look at some of our products here? Maybe you'll give me that thing.
So we do have our new race collection waterproof bag here. This has 100% welded seams on it. It's a 60-liter dry bag. It rolls down from the top. Just great for anything from college sailing when you're walking down to the docks, or whether you're going offshore and sailing overnight and you need a bag to keep all your gear dry. The main part of our race series collection is that it's all really lightweight. It's virtually weightless, but it's super thin and extremely durable and breathable. It's all cut with range of motion in mind so you can compete at the optimal level. It's really important when you're sailing at the top levels that you're not worried about sweating, you're not worried about getting wet, you're worried about competing at the highest level all the time. And that series for us, it comes in waterproof jackets, shorts, tech gear, sunglasses, hats. That full line is dedicated to performance sailing. And for us, that's a really important line.
Yeah, I still have spray tops from championships, 15 more years ago that I still have,
And that's there's a lot of sailors that come back to us and say, hey, I have this top or this jacket from 15 years ago, and I absolutely love it. And that's what we're in the business for, is to make really good gear that's dependable. And it warms our heart to be able to talk to people that have good stories about really, really good gear.
Yeah. Yes, we have an enormous ship out here coming in, carrying all the Gill gear for all you guys.
We do ship some stuff into this port, so it's a possibility.
Yes, absolutely. So what are we down? Do you know? We're down to a minute or so?
Sounds like it.
Oh, there's that ship we were talking about. That's all the Gill stuff coming into port there. That's our boy, Creighton Walters. Our weather guru is the pilot of the bay, and he's on that ship. He just called me a little bit ago to tell me, shh, hey, the sea breeze is right behind me, he said. So he's filling us even when he's working. Thank you, Creighton.
Must be coming up on a start here.
Yes,
you can. Up.
Yes, you can see how far back those sailors were hanging back behind the line. The race committee boat has got an orange flag on. It swung around backwards on the anchor up there. And the pin end is a white inflatable boat that you can barely see the engine in the right-hand side of the corner. You can't even see the flag on that. The I flag is up, so if anybody is over early, they're going to have to round it in. It looks like these guys are being a little more cautious. I'm going to say clean start. I think it was a clean start.
Pack of boats at the boat looks really good coming off the line.
Yes. So that's a separation in the fleet. The boats on the right are slightly higher than the boats on the left. Boat 2. Yes. Yes. So boat 2 up there, South Florida, jumped out huge. Brown Bears in 6 there, doing okay. Let's see if it oscillates back left. Matt, did you do college sailing?
Yeah, my alma mater is Salve Regina University up in Newport, Rhode Island, and got to sail a lot in current, very similar to sailing here, and it's really cool to see how competitive it is, you know, at this level. And these guys are having a great time. Super, super hard racing, though.
Absolutely. It's really been a team fest here. You really have to have a crew that knows what they're doing and can call the puffs and call the long-distance winds and the current lines. It's not just the skipper sailing there. There you see that standard double hand technique a lot of the sailors use. And what year did you graduate, Matt?
I graduated in 2011.
Okay.
It was fantastic. Actually, after I graduated and started working for Gill, I got to go back to my alma mater when they hosted the Nationals a couple years back, and really cool to see it from a different perspective.
Absolutely. So I believe this is race 8 for the A division. So we're trucking along through races. We do need to get 18 races in by tomorrow afternoon. Or we don't need to, but we plan to. So we can do one full rotation for each division. A total of 36 races for the championship. Coming out of the right corner big time here. Hobart. Griner Hobbs really nailing it here. Shy of the ley line. Boat 2 and 3 there on your screen. South Florida and Fordham are going to be 2nd and 3rd. Really close for 1st. So this is the first time we've seen both sides of the course come out even. Early in the day we had the right side, right middle paying. Later on, left middle, and now we've got boats coming from both sides. And again, the upsweeping current, upwind current is going to make this very easy to sail.
The pressure's filled in nicely for them.
And, you know, we've got a knot of current going upwind, so that's another knot of pressure that they're feeling. And everybody is going to get to the mark very close together. We have a lead change there. Georgetown, followed by Hobart, followed by Stanford in 14 there. Great. Boat 2 again dropped back just a little. They dropped from 2nd to 5th or 4th. South Florida. Fordham in 3.
A lot of quick drives around that weather mark. Showing a bit of a righty.
So we saw a righty. Great, thanks, Matt. We saw a righty off the line. These crews and skippers were probably feeling little bits of right wind shifts from the Charleston, downtown Charleston side. So that meant a lot of time on starboard upwind. And so now we're going with a little more time on port downwind. Yep, just like we suspected, quite tight racing, maybe not quite as tight right at the top as I thought it would be. Easy for Georgetown there to be able to maintain their lead. There's nobody threatening them there. Yep, tons of people. We got about 2 or 3 minutes here going downwind. Do we want to show a spray top or something?
Yeah, so we actually have part of our race series as well. We also have our keelboat racing series, which is a little bit more of a mid-weight top. This is our keelboat race smock. It comes in a quarter zip or a half zip with a PU adjustable neck collar, so you can get a nice watertight seal across your neck, as well as PU adjustable seals on your wrist, and 100% waterproof. All the seams are taped, and as a mid-weight garment, really good for more durable sailing, and it's really, really competitive when you're doing bow on a keelboat or bigger boats, such as a J24 or J70, when you're up in the front of the boat and getting a lot of water on you. This is a fantastic piece. It also comes, within the collection, also has a pair of bibs, a jacket, and a dry top, which has dry suit seals on the neck and on the wrist. So just a really nice collection. That next medium level, mid-weight top, really good for somebody looking to do multiple types of dinghy sailing as well as some big boat sailing.
Yeah, and one of the small things that I notice is that I just don't get Velcro chafe up here when I close off the inside. And that's a big factor, you know, when you go to the Snipe Worlds and you're sailing like a week and then you start the regatta, you got 6 or 7 days. And if you've got something rubbing your neck that whole time, you go home with a big old rash. So I appreciate that about the gear.
It's a PU material that we use on the wrists and on the neck. Some freshwater rinsing is fantastic after racing to make sure that that doesn't deteriorate, but it's a really, really good material when you're working with adjustable seals.
Yeah, that's great. Super exciting here. So we do have the A, excuse me, we have the A division going to be at the gates. It's going to take a little while because they are bucking the current right now. It does look like possibly the same leader there.
Boat 12, which is Hobart.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that, where's Georgetown go? They were 5, right? They must be on the outside over there.
On the outside, over on the right-hand side of the course.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be a split of the gates here.
Yeah, they really have nailed the gates today. Perfect distance apart. You know, you got 2 full 3-boat length circles at each, plus you got a little gap between, so we don't have any confusion there. Whenever you're setting gates out there, folks, make sure it's at least 8 boat lengths apart so that you have 2 full 3-boat length circles and maybe 2 boat lengths between them, because you don't want to create confusion. The rules change from starboard to port, as we found out in the America's Cup the other day.
Yes.
The rules change from starboard to port. As soon as the boats get to that circle there, it changes to inside-outside. So it looks like Georgetown had a kind of a rough downwind. I wonder what happened there. They dropped to 3rd. Stanford moved to 2nd. And we've got a pretty good, nice lead for Hobart here.
It looks like they tacked to cover there, going off to the left, going through the gates, but definitely covering the fleet in a very strong position right now.
Yeah. And you're looking at the bulk of the fleet there in the middle. Looks like boat number 2 there, South Florida, still around 4th or 5th. It looks like some people are trying to get a clear lane out here a little further to the left. Boat 3 is probably in about 6th right now, and boat 3 is Fordham there. So you can tell they're getting swept upwind. I mean, don't those boats look like they're trucking? So
yeah, they're moving.
These are great conditions for the, I mean, it's so easy to sail on an upwelling current, you know, and the current's increasing the apparent wind. And the current does run kind of a little bit diagonally through here. Southwest when it's going out, it runs northwest when it's coming in. Northeast, excuse me, when it's coming in. So both tacks are being enhanced right now with additional apparent wind equal to the strength of the current.
Great roll tack there from Roger Williams.
Yeah, there we go. And Patrick Snow out here.
You can tell they're really working the boat through a lot of this chop. You know, with the increase in pressure, the chop has increased quite a bit. And the crews are working the boat a lot more than in the lighter conditions.
Yeah, unfortunately, Navy looks like they're at least in the, you know, the cheap seats here at 14, 15, 16 or something for them. So hopefully, you know, the left's been okay. I do think we're seeing a little bit of chop kick up now with the wind against the current. So there's 15, Navy starting to see a little bit of a roundup here. And hopefully that gets them back in a little bit there. We are going to get up to the top of the course here extremely quickly. Best wind of the day, actually. This is 7 knots. Not full height conditions, but definitely both skippers and crews hiking. Wow, Hobart just really sailed a great run and got themselves in there, and then just, you know, lucky with that current, able to hold on to that. Yes, Stanford Cardinal, 14. Okay, here we go for the long buck of the current downwind. And welcome again to the Gill Coed College National Sailing Championship. It's been an amazing week. We crowned Yale last week for the Women's Nationals. Crowned College of Charleston, dethroning Yale, the 4-year defending champion at the Laser Performance Team Racing Nationals. We are going to send it back to the starting line here for the B division. And make sure collegesailing.org to follow the races here. I think that was the 10-second whistle. Again, it's hard to stay behind the line here. with this outgoing current. Oh, one boat over in that start. Boat 7. Great. As you can see, race 8B, you've got your team sail numbers up there. All these starts are just so beautiful, man. Who jumped out there in 8, man? Dartmouth? Yep, 13 in your face there. Santa Barbara. Yes, so it looks like they have the results up through 7B now. And maybe we'll take a look at those results pretty soon when they get them refreshed up there. BC was just up above Dartmouth in 8 there. Or just to leeward of Dartmouth in 8 there, I apologize. This is going to be bow to bow, folks. This is 2 packs. And when they come back together, the only people that are going to be in the back are the ones that are in a little bad air right now. Christopher Swanson right there. No, I'm wrong. Stephen Long right there. We've got a lot of views of them. Santa Barbara's getting a lot of good publicity there. Brad Schoppeter, their coach, went up there 4 or 5 years ago from ABYC's junior program director role and up there in Santa Barbara. And, you know, the cool thing is Santa Barbara City College actually qualified for this semifinals. They didn't do very well. They didn't have Dane Wilson up here, who's a, you know, youth world, you know, 29er sailor. I figured if he was here skippering, maybe they'd have been. But Santa Barbara City College, man, it is just it's a good school actually. I know a lot of people who go there, do their first 2 years, and man, when they transfer, they have no problems in a university. So, some great professors at Santa Barbara University of California, Santa Barbara, and professors at that community college. It's an amazing educational institution. Mm-hmm. And this year they kind of decided to get some people to go there and put together a team, and they qualified for nationals. It was really great.
Shows how a little bit of recruiting can really turn your program around pretty quickly.
So we've got a lead change out from the right corner. Charleston is going to be first here. I might be wrong, but I think they're rounding first. So that's going to be good. You use first, seconds, and thirds as averagers. So if you get an 11th, then you get a first, you just got 2-6. That's the way you look at it. So it's an average score that we're looking for, and first, seconds, and thirds are what we use to average out. We try not to get too high or too low. There you go. Charleston's going to close the door here with, you know, BC right there in 4. And, wow, that's a new number. 18, Navy right in there. So they're going to make up for Patrick there in the A division. Gary Prieto, who's actually struggling today. He won the B division yesterday. He's off to a rough start today, but now he's showing some good form, rounding second there. Yeah, Ian Berman doing a good job there. You know, Navy is one of the only teams that has made this nationals, all 3 of them 5 years in a row. Oh, finish. We're down at the finish, A division. So we couldn't really call that, but that was a close race. Boat 2 taken first, South Florida, man. They have shown up today. So where is South Florida? Where is the University of South Florida? Do you know?
It's in Tampa.
Okay.
Really, really good facility down there, right? Or it's actually, I believe it's in St. Petersburg is where the campus is.
Yeah.
In downtown St. Petersburg. Good sailing facility down there. You know, they normally get really good sea breezes as well. So I've been down there a couple times while I was in school to do some spring training and some team race events. Love sailing down there. Sunshine in the middle of winter is never a bad thing.
Yeah, sometimes we call Tampa or St. Pete, we call it San Diego East, because we, other than a little bit of thunderstorms and a little mugginess, they are very similar towns, you know, weather-wise.
Yeah.
About as close as you can get for those two.
Except summers are quite hot out there.
Yes, yes, that's where it's different. Well, let's recognize them. The A division for South Florida, Sean Cornell, a junior, Kristen Walker, a senior. They were both 2016 academic All-Americans, and that is not easy to do, folks. I don't know how those are determined. It's got to be GPA related. But I know the list is much longer for sailing All-Americans than it is for academic All-Americans. And you can find all that information at techscore@collegesailing.org as well. You can look up some of that info and look around on the website and follow all of the All-Americans. And we have a few here that are 4-time All-Americans. Erica Reinecke, finalist 4 years in a row for Women's College Sailor of the Year, and Ian Barrows 4 years. Several who have got it, both their freshmen and sophomores. So there you go. We're back on the B division in the Z420s. They're moving quite well out there.
College of Charleston really pulling ahead downwind, able to get a nice clean breeze and get a clear lane.
Yep, we've seen Hector quite a bit there too. Hector Guzman there. And yes, Maya Weber, a freshman, sailing with Hector there. So what a great opportunity to crew in your first nationals as a freshman. If you're sailing college sailing as a freshman, that means that you took high school sailing quite seriously, because it can be a shock to the system when you show up sailing 4 days a week, fitness every day, studying, trying to balance it all out. And they're only making a couple knots over the bottom there, so it looks like...
Interesting decision for Charleston, picking the downwind right-hand gate, and boat 15 was actually grounding the other side, split the gate, and got around a little bit quicker than they did.
There you go, Yale turning it on. Going to turn one of those 6 that they got earlier into 2 3.5s. And, oh, look at that. Go, girl. Yeah. So now what they're doing is they've pretty much got, these are ideal conditions. They got the jib sheet smoked, they got the windward sheet on, they got the main sheet smoked, and the current's taking them up when they are just locked in. They're not playing anything right now. They are just locked in. Here we go. We're going to see Charleston converge here back together with boat 8 there. Maybe lost a little to Dartmouth there. And yes, Dartmouth is on port though. So. And Yale jumped out there. So Yale's got a commanding lead out there in 15 on the right. We got Sean Segerbloom, a California kid, right in front of us there. And sailing with him is Rebecca Fung. A great crew there. A junior, maybe a rising senior Rebecca Fung there. Lots of great crew on that Georgetown team. Yeah, so you must have sailed here a few times here, right, Matt? What was it like when you sailed here?
I never sailed here with college sailing, but I've done Charleston Race Week quite a few times, as well as some international lightning class events. And this is as perfect as it gets. You know, you have a beautiful sea breeze, nice light chop, and the current's always kicking here, so that's just something you have to deal with. But it is an incredible place to sail. Really challenging. Most of the time we sail a little bit more out down in the bay, but it's really beautiful conditions right now. I've always enjoyed coming down here because the town is a super fun place to go out and be with your friends and family, but this is just incredible right now.
Yeah, there you go, 15 Yale, a great lineup here. Looks like we got number 1 slid in here. Nope, that's Charleston, I apologize, they've been there. Okay, another lap, folks. So this is great. Let's give some love to Charleston Race Week, because that may just be the biggest regatta of the year next year. You know, unfortunately, Key West Race Week sounds like they've got some issues to work out here quickly if they're going to throw out some buoys and be able to race. And Charleston may take that as kind of the premier regatta in the country, right?
Yeah, Gill is lucky enough to be a sponsor of both events, the technical apparel provider for both. And you know, we love working with both organizations. Charleston has become a fantastic event. All the best sailors in the country come here to compete, whether it's one design or perf racing, anywhere from a J70 and a Viper to your like J-class boats that go offshore. And just has become a really good place for people to come together, celebrate their love for the sport, and compete at the highest level. definitely a sad thing to hear Key West Race Week is going to forego this year. But hopefully they get everything put together and we can get back on the water down in Key West, because the venue doesn't get much better down there. Sailing in the middle of winter, and it's beautiful, 80 degrees and ripping 20 knots. So you can't really beat that. But Charleston Race Week is a fantastic event run by Randy, and we're looking forward to next year and continuing our partnership.
Yeah. I know my friend Andrew Kerr, who many people would know in the sailing world, just a wonderful guy that worked with me in the J World in the 80s and the 90s. And Andrew is one of the few people who have sailed every single Key West Race Week. So if you are listening, Andrew, I apologize. I know that Key West is just, oh man, our memories there with Mr. Bill at the Green Parrot, at his old office, Tim Hodgkiss down there, living down there with his J24, beating up on J World students single-handedly with a spinnaker. And gosh, Andrew is just in love with Key West, and I know he's going to be very sad if they can't pull something off, and he would have to not. He'll probably go down there anyway.
Yeah, right? Well, hopefully we can get back there and continue that event, and hopefully it has a long future.
Yes. So is that Charleston squeaking up on Yale there? If you look at the results, our four-time college, All-American Ian Barrows, he's down there, down in 7th in the A division. Him and Clara Robertson, they're not used to that feeling. I imagine they're going to move up. I don't think they've probably finished out of the top 3 in a couple years. So this just shows you how every year the bar goes up and down. Good sailors like Nicole Barnes last year, I think she lit a fire under everybody, and they don't want to come back again and see that.
That is
Ian
true.
does the same thing. They set the bar, and then people say, "The hell with that! I'm not doing it. I'm not watching their stern this entire nationals next year. I'm going to work harder, and I'm going to keep up with them."
It's the reality of college sailing these days. Everybody is stepping to the plate and working harder, and it's becoming a real die-hard sport that people are doing all year long in order to improve and win a national championship, and that's what it takes these days.
Absolutely. So they are going to the finish in the A division. We can't see the finish line there yet, and we do have some other boats down there mixed up, sailing around there, so it's a little hard to call here. Oh. This is the B division. Okay, going around the gates, yes. I apologize. That is Nick Baird. That is not Ian. Okay, coming around the other gate. Boat 10.
Looks like Yale got off to that right side.
W. Wow, they had a great run. Charleston in 1 going the other way. Georgetown 5 going the other way. I think this is maybe Navy coming up here. At 18, yes, Navy and 18, yellow numbers. So not quite full height conditions there. That's GW, but you can see they've got plenty of power on, keeping the main sheet on. Now they're actually sailing the boat kind of like an FJ. They just keep the main boned on and just let the crew bounce around, and maybe a tiny bit of adjustment of the jib. But the FJ, we do play the jibs quite a bit with that inboard lead. And the Z420 has the jib lead. Great, yes, we hear John. Thank you, John Pierce, for chatting or on Facebook, recognizing and cheering on your team you were formerly coach of. But yeah, you can see with the Z420, the jib leads are a little further in on the deck than the Club 420, but they're not as far inboard as an FJ. So the FJ, with that narrow sheeting angle, we play the jib more than the main. And in light and heavy air, we play the main more on the Z420. But this is medium air, so we're actually kind of in FJ mode right now. It's just keep the tiller straight, let the crew keep the boat balanced and on track. There we go. Nice lee bow there from Navy underneath Georgetown there.
A lot of boat handling conditions here today, for sure.
Yeah. Yes, thank you to everybody who are posting on Facebook. We're watching the comments come in as you're praising your children or your school or your sailors, and that's what we want. We want these kids to be able to go back and watch and see all of this stuff, or maybe they're watching now. And, oh, we are switching back to the A Division. Again, the A Division with the Gill logos. If you're just joining us at the Gill Coed College Sailing National Championship, thank you. Spread the word. Get everybody out. It's about time to get off work, folks. Make sure you've got this hooked up to your computers, your TVs. Get your friends together in the dorm and watch this. We got 20 seconds to go in the A Division. The current is sweeping them from your right to left, from the bridge. So starting in this condition is way less fun than starting when the current's going the other way.
You can tell by the clump of boats all at the weather end of the line struggling for position right now.
Yes, and you know the current is going diagonally a tiny bit up the course, so it does push people into that boat. Surprises me that they're pushing it quite so hard. You know, having sailed for 40 years, I'm lucky to have sailed with a lot of great sailors, and I got to be honest, you're not going to find any bargers among the Augie Diaz's or the Vince Bruns, Chris Larson's, John. You know, in this condition, they would be down away from the boat a little, and these guys being younger, less experienced, you know, I believe that's a mistake, barging in a, you know, this upsweep. Ooh, boy, it looks like somebody was over and didn't hear for a long time. So number 10 there in that race. Going to take a last on that one. That must be George Washington there. They'll need that bullet in the other race. Oh, maybe George Washington's had 2 bullets back to back possibly. Look up the results. They get refreshed very quickly. Looks like we've got more people feeding left now, so it looks like the coaches have gotten into the ears of the sailors. There is less risk on the left, and that's why you see people going there. Sailing is a lot about risk management and trying not to make the big blunder. So you're seeing the sprint to the left now because a lot of people are fighting for all the same thing. The boats going to the outside are just trying to, you know, get out of that deal. Okay, so I'm going to say boat. It's hard to call. I think boat 12 on the outside's winning. And I think boat 17 and 9 are in the running here. So we've got a complete split in the fleet. I'm going to call the starboard guys out on the outside. The farthest boats out are going to come out ahead in this.
It's definitely going to be a close weather mark rounding.
Yes. They get to this mark quick. People don't have as much time to lose. You know, they just don't lose because it's such a short 4-minute upwind leg or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the moment of truth, guys. I think I am correct. I think those boats on the left of your screen are first. Here comes 9. And it looks like 7, I think, is going to be just behind 9. Let's see what happens here. I think 9's got him. Yep, easy lee bow for 9 here on 7. Very good. 9's going to round first. 7's going to round second. Just to windward of them looks like 12. Hobart. Oh, look at that. Oh, my goodness, this is beautiful. So we're going to see reaching here from the leaders. There you go, folks. That is not their place. That is their sail number. So you can follow along. Thank you, Adam Burke, our 19-year-old intern, just the man. I don't know if I've ever met a 19-year-old who knows more about cameras, computers, websites, Facebook, everything. The kid knows everything.
It definitely helps seeing that on the screen.
Yeah, I think that was his idea. Kate also. Kate Wilson, our producer, great job this week. We've been burning the midnight oil here to bring you live stream powered by U.S. Sailing. We've been here very late, many nights this week, and that's what I love. You know, the sailing builds resilience, man. You just got to be able to block out, go to your happy place over and over. What do you do when you face adversity, Matt? What's your process? Do you get upset, or do you?
You got to hunker down, take it one by one, and just get it done. And sailing's definitely taught me that. You know, whether college sailing, you have to be able to put the past behind you and conquer what's in front of you. So just putting your head down, taking it one race at a time, and that pertains to life as well, and definitely in business. Being at Gill, we have so many projects going on right now. I work very, very closely with U.S. Sailing Josh Toso, John Pierce, and all the championship events and the Junior Olympic events that we partner with them on. We are constantly pushing projects and different ideas to try and grow the sport of sailing. And it's a really great partnership between Gill, being the official technical clothing supplier for U.S. Sailing, and then all the hard work that U.S. Sailing does to help us promote our product. And you know, when we're doing those things, sometimes you got to put your head down, work a late night, and get the project done. Get to an event, make sure that the branding is up, and the Gill brand looks good, the U.S. Sailing brand looks good, and it's a partnership, just like you and your crew, working with organizations within the marine industry. You have to partner with them to grow the industry as a whole, because that's how we all benefit.
Yeah. You know, it is not unlike business. I tell you all the time in my life teaching sailing out there, I got 6-year-olds to 16-year-olds, you know, and there's so many times where just composure and all these things that you've learned from being on the water and helping those kids get through their days, you know, it's amazing how similar businesses and our jobs are to what we're doing on the water here, because it's just, okay, let's just sit here and wait it out and go the best angle we can, and then we adjust as things shift and people make different decisions. And it's awesome. So look at this, guys. This is about bow to bow. We had a great chance there watching the Seahawks of St. Mary's. Adam Warblow, a legend coach. St. Mary's, you know, just a great program there. And yeah, it looks like 7 is going to come in first around this. I don't remember where they rounded the weather mark, but they're going to come in on this right buoy. And they have closed the gates up, so they're less, you know, it's less risky which one you go to. And they've moved this one closer to us, so you're going to see that come into your screen. They've moved that one closest up upwind just a tiny bit. Okay, St. Mary's dropped back into slow death just a little there and a little bad air, but I still think they're coming around at least tied for first.
This is about as close of a mark rounding as you get.
Sorry about that. I mistook that Finney for St. Mary's. That was a Roger Williams. Sorry, folks. Someone pointed that out to us. Thank you. And man, they had a hard time getting to that buoy, didn't he? It does look like boat 17 outside. BU outside taking the lead with Roger Williams taking second. Sorry, I saw yellow and I thought St. Mary's. Anyway, Adam, we gave you a good plug out there. Yeah, St. Mary's did just miss by one boat in the semis. They did take 10th yesterday. Great, boat 11. Kings Point. You know, they're having a very respectable showing for a team that was unranked going into this event. I love talking to those guys because they're just, they almost establish like this very captain tone. All of them seem to talk the same. It's like, it's amazing how they're hardwired to be so, communicate so clearly, so calm. It's almost like they have a class on, this is how we speak. Because I love it.
It's laser focus all the time, no matter what they're doing.
Yes. Stanford out there in 14 looks like they're doing pretty well again. Will Ladow, great day yesterday, last 2 days, and I expect to see that again coming in here. 16 in front of you, doing okay mid-pack. Coast Guard. There you go. Last year's national champs right there for the women. And again, the only team that has 2 female skippers going here in the Coed Nationals. How awesome is that? You know, Nicole is not just a great student. She is a great leader. And she was recognized because of her also adding athletic ability to that. She was recognized with what's called the BOT honors list at Coast Guard. Only 3% in the history of Coast Guard graduates have received that honor. And she just got that just recently.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so the honors list matches leadership skills, academic qualities, and fitness. Extremely difficult fitness program to pass, and if you pass it, you can say you're pretty fit.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah. Maybe we have the next Anna Tunnicliffe over here and Nicole Barnes.
That's definitely a possibility. She's incredible driving a boat, and a pleasure to speak to on the dock as well. Really, really nice young lady.
My favorite time last year, other than watching a freshman replace a senior for Georgetown and go on to win nationals. Other than that, watching Nicole Barnes' acceptance speech, I was in tears actually, and she didn't make anybody else cry. I have daughters, and I just hope my daughters are half as cool. But the humbleness she showed and the thanking of her coaches that turned her life around. You know, she said she struggled a little initially, and it took Brian and a couple coaches to get her back on track and get her going. And to see the gratitude she had for Dana Rohde and her coaches, and it really, you know, teared me up last year. You can see how they're getting swung now a little bit wide as they go around the buoy.
Mm-hmm.
That current going right to left.
A lot of overstanding
Roger
on that left-hand
Williams,
side.
Sorry to misidentify you guys. And I do not have their coach's name down. I apologize. I have all the coaches' names down except for them, and I apologize. There we go. Nicole Barnes got back in there well. Boat 1, College of Charleston. Boat 8. Yes, Dartmouth again. Okay, so the wind has just backed off just a tiny bit there up at the upper end of the course there. Really tight racing. There you go, folks. Live stream powered by US Sailing. Yeah, and US Sailing really wants you to know a lot of things this week, so keep going to ussailing.org. And for the first time in event history, the storied International Women's Keelboat Championship, sponsored and run by US Sailing, will be contested outside of the United States. This revitalized championship, organized by US Sailing, will offer women sailors an opportunity for high-quality racing in J70s on the international stage. It's going to be at Club de Vela La Pena in Mexico. And they will host this championship August 14th through 19th. The International Women's Keelboat Championship for 2017, August 14th through 19th. Teams from all over the world are encouraged to apply online at ussailing.org. So please visit there. Even if you're a young women's team, you know, some of these mud rat teams out there and stuff, put in an application, you know, getting your name under these committee members, getting your name in their head could lead to future acceptance. So U.S. Youth Championship, Ida Lewis, all these things, the International Women's Keelboat Championship. Apply, even if you're not thinking you're getting in, because getting your name will make you recognizable and you can get into these events. So J70s, 4 or 5 women on those boats, great racing in Mexico. That's going to be exciting. So yeah, the J70 there, Matt, it's been just like J-boats, man. They can sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves, right?
That is for sure.
And they've established this new J70 class. And have you sailed the J70 yet?
Yeah, I've had the privilege to sail quite a bit. Before I worked at Gill, I actually worked for a dealer of J-boats and got to sell a couple of them and sail with a lot of clients. And I did Key West and Charleston Race Week this year with Black River Racing. And had a fantastic time. I mean, those boats are just really competitive. Anytime you can get 70-plus boats on a line with some of the best sailors in the world, you know, world champions, national champions, and all that, it's unbelievable, and it's a really good experience, especially for somebody my age.
Yeah, they've really hit the nail on the head because, you know, I sailed One Design 35s, the Nelson design boat years ago, and we had some owner drivers, and, you know, the boom would hit the water in that, and they would go flying, you know. And then they got the FAR 40, and the FAR 40 really, the owner drivers, higher freeboard, keep the boom out of the water on the heavy air jibes. They love that. And then you come out with the slightly underpowered J70 upwind. And again, it's perfect for the owners.
It is. And
then and then a 2,000 square foot spinnaker for downwind. And it's still under control. And then you have a perfect mix of pros and amateurs. You know, it's just so great that you have the pros in there helping the class so aggressively, and you have tons of amateurs who also can compete in the boats. And I tell you, man, amateurs are kind of beaten up here once in a while in that fleet.
It's amazing. It's a completely level playing field. You have guys, you know, that are fully professional teams, and then the amateur on the side that is just him and his friends, but comes down to time on the water.
Yeah, absolutely. So look at this, man. Is this a righty or what? almost every boat on starboard tack shooting straight up away from the Yorktown here. A lot of times they've been kind of pointing at us a little bit, and then now they're not. They are ramping up the course on starboard, more pressure at the windward mark. So Roger Williams is just going to romp away from everybody here in boat 7. Boat 11, Kings Point, second or third there. They got a couple boats that are close. Oh, look at that. Main in hard. These boats, you trim that main so hard. Yeah, just keeps the bow in the wind, and they'll just play the jib on these suckers.
He's coming into a bunch more pressure here. Nice tack, little
if you're
lefty.
a keelboat sailor out there, you know what vang sheeting is, playing the main sheet in the puffs. On FJs, we don't. When it gets breezy on an FJ, we keep the main where it is pretty much, maybe 1 or 2 inches, and we play the jib. It's a really backwards boat, isn't it?
It's very difficult to learn how to sail if you've never been in one, but college sailing is a great platform to do that.
Yeah,
you
know,
sail every single day.
I didn't know that until I started coaching Mikey Anderson. You know, here Mikey was 15 when he became a freshman, and they won the Fleet Racing Nationals in high school that year in 1999, and they won the Team Racing Nationals that year. And that kid was playing the jib upwind and breeze, and I was yelling at him, and then I realized, oh my God, I just learned something from a 15-year-old. What an amazing kid he was. He did everything to the way he would do it. He listened, but he took what the coaches told him, and he grew on it. I've never seen anybody who did it like he did.
It's the incredible part about being a youth sailor, or coming up through college sailing. The coaches are still learning all the time, just like the America's Cup now, where they're learning every day. There's always an opportunity for the teacher to learn or the student to learn.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the 8th race of the day, folks, for A. So we have had now both B and A have finished. Both have 8A. They've both finished 8 races. Yeah, so Roger Williams, great job. Sorry about my missed call on you guys. I gave St. Mary's a little love there. And again, you can see the boats trending or ranging to the left. Okay, 14. Very good. Stanford coming in there with a second. Yeah, with a 4th. And 17 right on their tail. Boston U. And it's great, folks. We finished 16 races, 8 in both divisions. We are going to be here even a little longer. So, and so we are really excited with the Gill sponsorship here. Thank you, Matt. Matt Schoen for showing up here. Good luck this week with all the sales. And thank you again, Matt. And I am John Rogers here at the U.S. Sailing Studio with Granite River Studios and Deegan Media. And we are going to take a short break here. Make sure you don't go away. Get a drink. Get your teams together. Get it hooked up on that TV in your bars, in your dorm rooms, in your homes, at your yacht clubs. And make sure you come back and join us soon. Thank you again. I'm John Rogers, and we'll see you very soon.
Gill is the marine enthusiast brand of choice. We make the highest quality marine clothing primarily for the racing and cruising sailor, but also the powerboating and fishing community. Our technical clothing will keep you dry, warm, and comfortable in all conditions, from inshore sailing and one-design dinghy class racing to the testing conditions of around-the-world sailing. Gill gets you dressed for it. We exist to simply make the best technical marine wear available on the planet so you can enjoy your time on the water to the fullest.
Set, cut.
We are back here at the Gill Coed College National Sailing Championship. We are in race night. I'm lucky enough to be joined by Moira Lonergan, a junior from the College of Charleston. Welcome, Moira.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here to talk to you guys, who is watching at home.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Moira is here because she's representing U.S. Sailing, and she is doing the social media for this event for them. And how did you get selected for that job?
It actually worked out really well. I am on the College of Charleston sailing team, and one of my teammates, Augie Dale, his mom, Robin, works for U.S. Sailing in the marketing department, and she originally needed somebody to take Snapchat along for college sailing spring break, and she just wanted somebody to, keep all the followers updated on what's going on, what training looks like for college kids during the week of spring break. So I got connected with U.S. Sailing through her, and so I started doing Snapchat for them for spring break, and then for Charleston Race Week, she contacted me again, and I started to do Twitter and Snapchat again for them, and now I'm doing all the social media for College Nationals, which is, it started with women's and then team race, and now for Coed I'm doing Snapchat and Instagram and also some Twitter, so make sure you're following.
Well, we've been praising U.S. Sailing a lot. They hired a multi-time medalist to be their Olympic director, and they hired John Piers to be their youth director, and now, well, they're sponsoring this, and now they're going young for the social media side. That's a good move, These guys are laughing at me a little because I'm still trying to figure out how to get on my team speak here. But great job. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, so what race are we in here? 9A. We're in the A division because they have Gill on their sails, and they are making about 0.3 knots over the bottom right now. They are bucking the current. The current's going from your right to left. And so you're seeing them reach a little because the wind has lightened up just a little bit. So what would you be thinking right now, Moira, if you were crewing? You're a junior with the College of Charleston on their dinghy team. What would you be telling your skipper or doing right now?
So basically, if I was in the boat right now, I would be looking behind me constantly, trying to figure out where the wind is coming from, if there's any puffs, letting my skipper know, what the boats behind us are doing, where to go to get clean air. Also, always pointing out where the mark is, especially after, you round the offset. You want to make sure that your skipper immediately knows where they need to sail to. Seeing what's going on in my skipper's head, agreeing both tactically and then making sure that we execute all boat handling well together.
That's great, yeah. So you see them, some teams wing on wing. Yes, you know who I just got a text from? I just got a text from Nikki's mom.
Really?
She's listening right now. Hello.
Hi, Mrs. Simon.
Yes, thank you, Maria, for taking care of my wife, too. My wife's the principal at Coronado High, and Maria's on the Coronado School Board.
Oh, nice.
And it's, it's a challenging position out there. And Maria, thank you. And Nikki, you were great to coach growing up. She was a fire that came on right away at age 11. She qualified for the gold division of Sabot Nationals, and there is almost nobody who's done that. So that's my claim for fame, to remind Nikki that was an incredible performance. Age 11, making the top 25 at Sabot Nationals. That doesn't happen to many. Like less than 5. I mean, it's an amazing accomplishment. So thank you guys for checking in there. So man, this leg's going to take forever. We're going to have plenty to talk about here. So they're bucking the current here. The B division has already done their 9th race. They're sitting down there getting ready for their 10th race. I think they may call it a day after the A division finishes their 10th race, but we'll just have to see. It's it's still good enough sailing, isn't it? You guys sail late out here, don't you?
We do. It's been hard lately because there hasn't been, today was a perfect example. Not a ton of wind in the morning, waiting for the sea breeze to fill, and we're lucky that that it's light for so long here. We're able to sail until almost I think sunset's around 7:30, so we can sail for a long time, which is good.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, we just got notice on the, you can get the text. You can figure out how to get the text for these, but we just got the text that said they are going to try for 12 races in at least one, maybe both divisions. So we're going to be here a while. This is great. If I don't lose my voice, no. I'm good. I'm feeling good. Okay, so again, this leg is taking forever. They're about 2 minutes from the gate, minute and a half maybe. And we could pan right just a little here. Yep, so there you go. It looks like boat 6 in the lead there. Boat 6 is Roger Williams. They've had a couple of good races lately. And can't tell. It's hard to see the numbers from this angle.
So it looks like the top 5 teams who are doing well here at Coeds are 4 out of those 5 are the final 4 from team race. So
yes, we were talking about Maria Simon and Nikki Simon. The reason why I brought that up, folks, is that Maura cruised sometimes with a girl that I coached from age 8 until she came to the College of Charleston.
Yeah, Nikki, she's been a great addition to our team, a good friend to me, and a great skipper. I've learned a lot sailing with her,
yes,
and we've had a lot of fun.
Well, you know, she did her first Club 420 regatta when she was 11.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, we threw them in the fire, and they went out there and they got blown around. But by the time they got to be seniors, you know, they did quite well in the Ida Lewis and some of those events. And yep, so there we go. That's why I was talking about Nikki there. And you know, she's got a couple freshman skippers ahead of her too. Her sophomore in Paris and a freshman in Allie this year who are going to be there too. So those are 3 good skippers right there duking it out.
We're lucky to have such a strong women's program. It's very competitive, which is good. We all challenge each other in practice, and we're all friends, you know, on and off the water. So I'm lucky to be such a part of such an amazing team.
Yeah, quite impressive for you to have Paris a sophomore and Allie is a freshman, and they got 6th.
Yes, they both
6th at the Women's Nationals last week. Okay, we're starting to see some numbers here. Here we go. A division, South Florida, and 3 out there is in 2nd. And boat 9 there. Dartmouth is going to just lee bow underneath them, not lee bow, but set up to leeward of South Florida there. South Florida should be just hammered down right now, just trying to move bow forward a little bit. Out here squeaking out on the left, boat 5 is BC, the Eagles. I love the Eagles t-shirts, you know. They have t-shirts that say Eagle Sunday on the back. And we used to have a saying in the snipe fleet. A friend of mine, Bart Hackworth, and I, Bart was a champion snipe sailor at USC, and then he went on to win the Snipe Nationals together a couple of times, and North Americans a couple times together. And Bart used to have a thing, Triple Bullet Sundays. And he always loved to win more than one race on a Sunday at the end. And Eagle Sunday means that's when they show up. And I really like that shirt. Okay, boat 7 there. Brown, having a good race. So I think the results are going to be extremely tight. Go to collegesailing.org, folks, and update the scores as soon as you can. You can see the full scores. You can see who in each division is going well. That is the wrong page. Yeah, we are going to take a look at scores here pretty soon on the board. Okay, look at that, Roger Williams. That is the biggest lead we've seen all day. So great job by the Roger Williams team. Oh, there we go. A division. They're showing the A division there. Campbell Deliscu, Megan McCrae, great sailors. 2nd, Erica Reinecke, Alice Bowen, Lisa McGrath. You can see their ages there. If you're a younger kid and you're figuring that out, that's a senior for Erica and juniors for the other 2 there. And then you got Greiner Hobbs. Befriended him here. You know, Greiner, great sailor from Tampa. We know some people that we each know. Anna Flaherty, great. Sean Cornell, we talked about him, and Kristen Walker there. Willadow has dropped down just a little bit. You see there's only 5 points between 2nd and 5th. So that is tiny. Ian Barrows surprising. Him and Patrick Snow, who I think will be finalists for College Sailor of the Year tomorrow, mark my words. And right now, those 2 guys are a little further back than they thought they'd be, maybe. What do you attest to that? What's going on here? Why do you think some of the better sailors might be having kind of their worst placings of the season, to be honest?
I don't know. I think that there's a lot of sailors are really motivated coming in here. I think that sometimes maybe if you have a great season or even, a great couple of years, maybe you could be burnt out or even, not as mentally prepared as the other sailors who are trying to get ahead. Also, I know a lot of the really good skippers, I mean, this is true for all teams, but they're also great team racers, so they might be a little burnt out coming off of team race nationals.
Yeah, I think they definitely have raised the level of everybody up. We are up to race 9B scored. We are... The Bs are racing before the As, so I know you people out there might be a little confused. The Bs started first today, and they have a reason for that. They are trying to set it up so that tomorrow at the very end, we have the A division. If it's going to come down to a close race, we want it to be for the championship with what are usually considered the best sailors in the country in the A division. So I think that's why they've set it up backwards. So you've got the A division with the Gill on their sails coming downwind, and you're going to have the B division in race 10B coming upwind, crisscrossing each other very, very soon. And lots of thank yous to get out today. Let's do a couple congratulations, actually. Recently ICSA held their Hall of Fame induction. And one kid was recognized this year, actually Austin Powers from Christopher Newport University, a senior, got what's called the Purrington Leadership Award. So that is for the top leader amongst all college sailing teams. So he must be an incredible kid. Austin Powers, a senior there at Christopher Newport. I don't know you, but, congratulations there. Some other Hall of Fame inductees recently, Jade Forsberg. She's pretty amazing. This is a undergraduate from Middlebury College, and she's the vice president, the undergraduate vice president for NISA. And she wrote a handbook to help new teams start out. So Jade was awarded the James Rumanier Student Leadership Award, and what an honor that must be for her. She's from Barbados. I don't know if she did high school sailing in Barbados, but now she's with Middlebury, and congratulations there. So we'll recognize a few more as we go along there, but again, Austin Powers, Jade Forsberg, great job. Keep supporting. That's what being involved is what life's all about, and you're demonstrating it at a very young age, and it's what we need in this world. Okay, so what are we watching here? We are watching the B Division Race 10B. Who is that leading out there in boat 15? That is Stanford Cardinal. Great. I wonder if Jacob Rosenberg is still in there. That would be a great deal for him. I know that they've been trying to find the B Division out there. Let's see how they're doing in B Division. Yes, the B Division is kind of struggling with 112 points after race 9B, and their A Division with Willowdow's only with 57 points. So like I figured, Stanford's out there trying to figure out how to get their B Division going. Really close race right there. 14 in third. 14 is Yale. Yes, I keep thinking Yale is going to just keep putting on these first, seconds, and thirds here and maybe get back into this regatta here just a little bit. Currently sitting in fifth or so. Yeah, 17. Very good. Coast Guard, Dana Rohde. Yeah, Dana's been, a little bit down on there, sitting about 13th right now. Had Maddie Aiken, a freshman, for the first 8 races, and now they've put in Madeline Widmeyer, who I'm familiar with. I believe the Widmeyers have been pretty active in 29ers in the past. I think I remember coaching Madeline, or maybe a sister, so very good. Again, well-rounded sailors like John Pierce was talking about. Great. And if you look, we're swinging around here in just a second. Hopefully we're going to come down to score the finish. Boat 6 in race 9A. Roger Williams going to take a definite bullet in that race. Great job. That's the biggest win we've seen. I think even in the women's, I don't know if I saw a win by quite that far. I just can't remember. That was a long time ago. Not really. Okay, that looks like a straight line of boats up there going into the finish. And 13 is, oh boy, this is going to be, what are we looking at on the screen? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we were on the finish line. We are out here actually on the B division. Yeah, the B division is going to be another 2 minutes before they get to the gates here, because they are bucking the current. It's picking up. So thank you to Granite River Studios. Kent was our technical director to start. We have our new technical director, Peter, in. Colton and Harry and Corey, the cameramen, thank you guys. It's been great. We're going to have another long day tomorrow together. Okay, we've got the B division coming in here to the gate. Okay, so hard to see the numbers here. So we don't know who's leading in this race. And they're going to be coming around here just a second. There you go. 14 in race 10B is the Yale Bulldogs. They made a gain there. So just like women nationals, Yale seems to have something downwind. I wish I could put my finger on it. But I think they won the nationals with the women's downwind. I mean, I watched several races where they'd round 8 and they'd be 3rd by the next one. There we go. Let's just watch this for another second before we get it into here about Moira and some other things here. Yeah, so coming around that outside gate, boat number 4. That's Georgetown. Brown Bears, they're in 7. Good job. They've been coming on lately. I'd be interested to look at the results there. At this other buoy, we had Coast Guard. Okay, so yeah, so we got Moira here, and she's working along with U.S. Sailing, and you know they run a lot of championships, and they run the Junior Olympic festivals. Did you, and the Bemis, did you do any of those events?
I was actually so lucky growing up. I qualified for the U.S. Youth Championship 3 times. I competed twice. And actually my home club, Beverly Yacht Club in Marion, Massachusetts, we hosted a Junior Olympic Sailing Festival in 2015. So that was a great experience, both for myself and for the club. It's a lot of great competition. I know that the Junior Sailing Olympic Festivals are, they're from ages 8 to 18. So you could be in opties, lasers, or 420s. And it really pulls a lot of competition. So it's great. Yeah, the Junior Olympic Festivals that U.S. Sailing runs, those are intended to nurture everybody, the advanced sailors and the up-and-coming sailors, whereas the U.S. Youth Championship is a resume-only application process, very detailed to pick the very top sailors. And, you know, not to put you on the spot, but maybe we could give a little advice to John Pierce, because they're looking for that. They're calling us all the time. What would be your advice for the Junior Olympic Festivals? Could they spice that event up? What was fun about that event for you?
The Junior Olympic Sailing Festivals?
Yes. So I think that what was most exciting for me when I competed at that event was the fact that it felt like it wasn't just another regatta. It was exciting that U.S. Sailing was putting it on. I think that it's exciting. I went to an event that John Pierce was a U.S. Sailing coach, and he was giving debriefs at the end of the day. And that was awesome. That was something that was different from other events. So I think that it's almost the fact, like, it brings this sort of mindset to get competition. People are more excited to go, more excited to compete. So
yeah, I'm thinking of Jumpy Land or something.
Oh,
a bunch
yeah,
of
that'd be
jumpies
fun.
with just, sometimes I find with kids that if I put a bunch of life jackets on before a competition and I let them punch me really hard with my life jackets on, it like takes some energy out. So maybe some jumpies to get everybody to relax and really send it out there on the race course in kind of the mindset these guys sail, which is amazingly consistent to me. Do you find that about college sailing, that they do look kind of like I'm videotaping them from the race before and the race before?
Yes.
It's very consistent, and it's so awesome for me.
I think that's one of the things that, our coaches preach to us the most is that, and something that all of my coaches my whole life have been telling me, is that consistency is key. And if you're able to just, Ward at College of Charleston, he tells us all the time that it's not, constant number ones, that when, regattas or championships, it's, constant like threes, constant fours, fives, like top five consistently, and you're doing well. So I think that the best college sailors, or just sailors in general, are the people who are able to consistently place in the top 5 or top 10.
That's great. Well, as we're watching Yale kind of sail away with that race, we could jump back to the starting line here to see the A division come off here in their 10th race. So again, the B division is ahead of the A division, racing before them. So we're finishing 10B soon, and we're just starting race 10 for the A division. Beautiful little poke out at the end. It's the first time we've seen the pin boat poked out. What changed? Did they move the starting? No, they did not. So boat 16 there in 10A. Yes, spot BU, the Buds. The Terriers have punched out. First boat to be able to look over their shoulder. The crew is just telling the skipper right now, we can tack and cross everybody but maybe 9. I think they're crossing 9. A roll tack there, and they get past Dartmouth there. Look at Dartmouth. They are just sailing very, very well today. The starting award goes to Georgetown. They have been punched out at so many starts, but Dartmouth has been called a lot today. I hope that means they're placing well. Yeah, BU. So where do they sail exactly? Do you know?
BU?
Yeah.
I think that they practice, like, their home venue.
Yes.
It's on, I want to say it's on the Charles.
Okay.
I think that they're pretty close to MIT and Harvard. I did a recruiting trip at BU, and when I went to practice with them, we actually had a 3-way practice with Harvard and MIT. So that's one huge advantage that the Boston schools have over, Charleston, there's no one for us to really practice with that's close to us, but they can, literally hop in their 420s and sail on over to other venues to practice, which is big.
Yeah, if we look at boat number 8, 14 out there, and 16 there, I think 8's ahead. I think 16 is 3rd in there, maybe 4th. We'll just have to see. The crew would be looking under the boom and looking at the land behind boat 8. They can do a technique that we call making trees or losing trees. We actually take a range off the front of the jib of the other boat that's crossing. We can tell this miles apart. And we can tell if we're behind or behind, or crossing ahead or behind. So definitely 16's going behind at least 2 boats out there, 8 and 10. And then we're just going to have to see here, man. So interestingly enough, it's been really hard to really tell anybody which side is better. It was right early and left late, and now it seems like the right's okay, but it's pretty even. Right now it's coming down to starting, to be honest. With the both sides this even. There goes 16's going to round 3rd, probably 8. Who is in boat 8? Let's see. Got to find him. That is Tufts. How many times have I said that? Is Tufts winning over there? Holy smoke screens. That is amazing. They are having a very good day. Here they come, right in their face. There you go, parents. You get to see your kids right in your face. This is the A division. Griffin Rolander, second team all-conference already. We'll see if he gets anything else tomorrow night at the trophy presentation that we will bring to you live on Facebook. Yeah, very good. 18 behind them. Charleston. Yeah, you can celebrate a little.
Proud of my Cougars.
There we go. And then the brakes go on, folks. They are bucking the current. They are turning straight into the current, and they are going to take, so what, 4-minute upwind legs, 6.5 minutes, 6-minute downwind legs is my guess. And so it's about a 50% increase in time because of the tidal current as it flows here. You can see in the background there, you can see the B division is around the gates and coming upwind. See how they spread out a little bit in that bucking current here? Maybe they've spread out a little bit as some people's weaknesses are exposed. So if you're fast downwind, it will show when you're bucking the current, and vice versa. Upwind, if you're fast, you'll see yourself gaining on those pinchers or footers that are just off and don't quite know it. You know, their telltales are flying, but there's a difference between flying your telltales and actually having a feel for squeaking that extra 1/10 of a knot. I would say 1/10 of a knot of speed over this length of course is going to equate to about 2 boat lengths. And that's everything in the A's especially. If you could say you were given 2 boat lengths every race, you'd probably pay money for that. There you go, Yale crossing across there, the B division boat going towards upwind, and then everybody just being patient downwind, yes. We have a split in that Gill mainsail fleet there, the A's. The current is going to move them from their right to their left a little bit. So some of these boats that are coming this way, digging up current a little, we're going to see if that's going to pay off later. Let's see if this pack nearest us does. Yeah. Yep, you can see Yale on your screen there. Great race, guys. Horizon job on that one. Excellent. There you go. Georgetown in boat 4 takes a second. Nice work there. Brown Bears, good job. Pop those results up, folks. There you go, Dartmouth again. Dartmouth again having another good race there. Coming in next, yeah, coming in next, Stanford, University of South Florida. Yeah, so when I got out here, Maura, I saw the sign that said, "Are you 100%?" The sign that's behind us. So what's that all about?
So U.S. Sailing right now is doing a program that is challenging college teams to get 100% membership with U.S. Sailing, the entire team. And they are actually offering to any college team that is 100% participation the college socks, or U.S. Sailing socks that say 100% in their college colors. So. Oh,
so they get the socks of their college.
Yes.
Okay, I thought they got these beautiful port and starboard ones that I was puppet socking with the other day.
I think they get these, but in their college colors.
Great.
So U.S. Sailing socks.
That's awesome. Colors. Yes, my starboard sock was the man, and the red sock was the woman. And as soon as we got on the Yorktown, this one got loud, and the other one was complaining. The wife was complaining there, so we had a little sock puppet game going on over there, and the mother won the argument there. Okay, well, that's great. Yes, we are sitting here watching the A division is going downwind in their 10th race, and they are right into the sun, so I'm squinting over here. I'll have to get my shades on here. As the sun goes down, Harry's angle gets really tough, so we'll have to get Colton and Corey on the water a lot. Oh, folks, it looks like this, we are going to be calling it a day. Yes. And, changing out my glasses here. So we are on the last beat to the finish, folks. We have so many people to thank for this event here in Charleston, South Carolina. It has just been absolutely amazing. Women's Nationals, Team Racing Nationals, and now the Coed Nationals, Gill and U.S. Sailing. We are going to be sailing. We are going to be covering, hopefully starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We are probably going to have to anticipate that we will get off to a tiny bit of a late start tomorrow, just like today, but we will get the races finished tomorrow. I am pretty darn certain. We will get up to those 18 total races in each division, and then we will have a awards presentation that will recognize many, many different people and teams. So make sure you follow us at Facebook Live. So there you go, the A division, folks. And 15, boat 15 there's probably in about 5th, 6th place right now. And Stanford there in 15. And right on their tail, South Florida Bulls. Congratulations to them. Yep. So here we are. We're halfway up the beat. One more question, Moira. We're going to be wrapping up pretty soon, so we don't have much more time. How do people follow you on U.S. Sailing?
So you can follow me along on U.S. Sailing Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all with the handle at U.S. Sailing.
Well, that's great. And hang out with us here till we close out here. It's been a joy having you here, and I'm stoked I get to work with a college kid here. And, kind of excited about your future. You sound like a go-getter, so.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's been fun being here.
That's awesome. Yep, Tufts out there winning. Boat number 8. And are they on your screen there? Just to the left there. You got 5 on your screen. In second, BC. Very good. That's Tufts crossing their bow. And they are stepping up here. And we're on another lap. I apologize, folks. Yep, we got one more lap here. So what does it look like? 14's going to tack here, and 14, Yale, taken in 3rd here. They won their last race in the B division, and now they're sitting in 4th here. So they are consistently now staying around the top 5. George Washington again, good. We haven't seen them for a couple races. George Washington won a couple races in a row just recently, and then maybe took a couple other dingers, and then now they're back up there in the top 4. So I guess we're going to be here together quite a bit longer, because this downwind's another 6.5 minutes, and upwind goes much faster. There's enough pressure. It's a little bit choppy, the rebound off the outer dock here. What's going to be amazing, well, you can see them barely moving over the bottom, can't you? What's going to be amazing is we have about a 1,000-foot ship rolling in to windward of the group here. I wonder, my friend Creighton says that does play havoc with some races in the bay here. So let's see what happens. Amazing. Look, they're just hurry up and wait. And just keep sailing your hardest, When you're moving slow because of the current, it's hard to keep that energy up and just really keep the concentration going, because that's the difference right there between the good and the bad. Yeah, yeah. So this is a good example of a nice long day. We've had a bunch of them, haven't we? What's it like? How do you get through yourself? What's it like, and how do you get through these long days?
Well, I think that the long days are, I know growing up and throughout all competition, long days are the times when, you know, people mentally start to fall off a bit. So I think if you can, you know, remain sharp both tactically and physically, I think that it helps a lot knowing that a lot of other people are getting weak and knowing that that's actually a time where you can make huge gains.
Yep. There you go, Tufts, just waiting, and you know, they just keep looking around. The crews help because if somebody starts gaining, or if you start gaining, the crew wants to make sure that they communicate properly. If we're gaining, it's going to be a very upbeat, hey, you're doing good right now, keep it like that, don't move, or something like that. Whereas if we're doing bad, it's more like, hey, take a look, take a quick look, you know, because a lot of the skippers can find out the adjustment, whether they need to go up or down or something. They can find out, you know, they're good at regaining things. So if you don't want to say, oh, they're killing us, you know, emotions are very predictable in humans, and, you know, you want to try to control that. A good crew can help psychotherapy through these tough, you know, when you're in A division here especially, man, you make one mistake, you're in 13th, you know, and that's hard on that ego. So those crews are really nurturing there a lot of the times when they can be. So I think the wind shadow is going to be quite amazing. We may get to 0 knots over the bottom here. This is amazing that they're actually, imagine yourself folks sailing at the airport and you are on that people mover and there's people going by you the other way. That's what they are on. They are going the wrong way and everybody's looking at you trying to run the opposite way and they're barking at you. Like when we were little kids, you know, we go running up the running down those people movers the wrong direction just because we were bored to tears sitting there for our flights. So there you go. It takes an amazing amount of patience, and now the wind in the next minute is going to back out of here. There is just no way that thing doesn't affect the wind. BC and Tufts just having a little match race there. I think we're going to see people start to reach, because I think if they're not reaching, they're not going to move. They're going to go maybe backwards. If they're reaching, at least they'll be able to hold over the bottom. These guys on this near side nearest us just may be making us a gain. What do you think?
I think so. If you see, there's one boat that just passed a couple of others that was on, for us, the right side over here. Maybe there's a little bit more wind over here. It's so hard. That ship creates such a shadow.
Yes. It's so funny because I think them out there are pretty stressed out, and I'm sitting here all excited. I just love Mother Nature. You know, I got lucky. I never got burned out. I've never been burned out a day in my life on a sailboat. You know, my dad saw me one day get upset when I was sailing. He just said to me, blue sky, water, friends, what's not to like? You know, he just couldn't my dad was like that. He just couldn't quite understand when I complained. And, you know, and it did rub off on me, and I just got lucky. I just fell in love with it. And so I don't care if I was going backwards out there. I would pull out my secret anchor maybe. And when everybody else is going backwards, I could hold, right?
You could hold.
Yes. I'm not a cheater, no.
Well, I think that's one of the best parts about the sport of sailing is, you know, being able to, I know for me, one of my favorite parts about being on a college team is having a designated, you know, 4 hours a day where I have to be outside. I mean, I spend tons of time outside anyway, but even during the year, it's so nice, and to be with your friends, you get to meet so many amazing people through the sport. I mean, my friends here, I've been friends with so many of these competitors since, you know, opties, since I was little, and to get to see everybody again now when we're all in our 20s and in college, it's amazing. It
doesn't change. I just did the Snipe Worlds at age 49, 48 a year and a half ago, and I had been out of the fleet for about 10 years. You know, I had a baby in 2003 right after the Snipe Worlds in Sweden, and I went on a little snipe hiatus. I really missed it, and I got to go back again, and gosh, it just meant so much to me to go over there and see how the Argentinians party, and the Brazilians are so skilled and tactical, and the Norwegians are so friendly, and, you know, and just all those friends you have. I know, isn't that, you're going to have a lot more of those experiences in your life.
It's amazing.
I think we're having lead changes here, guys. These guys on the inside here, boat number 2, I think is now right up there, very, very close. So Fordham, the Fordham Rams there. Beautiful. They had a pretty good day. I think they should be proud of themselves. Unranked, maybe ranked 19th in the last poll or 20th. Maybe made it in at the end. Great job, Johnny Northfleet, coach. South Florida in 3 there. Yay. Let's see. Man, that is right in the sun, isn't it? Okay. Is that an inside overlap? We're a little ahead, so it's hard to sail. But if 3's bow is past the rudder, a perpendicular line off that rudder, then boat 3 is entitled to room there. So we will find out right now if there's an overlap there. They have to sail well past the buoy here before they turn. Okay, 3 did have an overlap. 2 has to give enough room to safely round the buoy. So Fordham takes the lead here. Is there anybody around the other buoy? Not quite yet. So we have some new leaders, folks. This is the last beat of the Gill Coed National Championship for today. We will be back tomorrow, so stick with us here, and then we'll give you the info on what to follow tomorrow. That looks like in 15, Stanford Cardinal. Excellent. So, looks like Fordham maybe pinched off South Florida there in 3 and forced them to tack. There's 13 doing well, probably in 5th, Hobart. Yeah, South Florida there tacked because they could see they were beating BC and Tufts. So they tacked because they only had 1 boat to their left and they saw they were beating the 2 boats on the right, and that's a net gain. So they tacked to save that. So again, crew and skipper work together on how we doing on the boats on the right, how we doing on the boats on the left. Once we've got the left put away, for example, we start going back towards the right. So it's just a matter of managing. Wow, 2 up there, Fordham. They are locked in right there. This is going to come down to the very end. Okay, folks, you are here on the last beat for today. You are here at the live stream coverage powered by US Sailing. And it's been a great day. We got off to a late start, and we got 10 races off in both positions. That's great. We'll get those 8 off tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. There we go. There we go. South Florida pulls off that bullet. Great job. That was so close. Too close to call Fordham. Great job. For a second's just like a first. Coming in right behind them was Roger Williams. They moved up. And it looks like BC and Tufts, they got pushed back even a little further with BC, yeah, there in boat number 5, dropped back just a little. So we're finishing up here. We are going to sit here for a second because it is just amazing how quickly they're getting results up, folks. So we are going to put the final results up for Saturday today, and we will be going on. So make sure that you invite all your friends. You invite all your friends tonight to get online for the live stream tomorrow morning. We plan to start at 10 a.m. We need 8 races in there. We've got a ton of thank yous from US Sailing, Gill, College of Charleston. It's great. And yeah, and we are going to bring up some results for you in just a second so you can see them on the board here. You can get those results and everything also. Yep, so look, 29er sailor, one of my favorites, Christopher Williford. Chris Williford from Dartmouth is winning the B. Awesome, Sophie Kerr, Nathaniel Greason, great job. Chris, I've been lucky to work with him several times in 29ers. Love him. College of Charleston, Jack Cusick. I don't know Jack. What's Jack like?
He's a great guy. He's a great member to have on our team. He's the only senior boy, so He's a great leader, both on and off the water. A very, very friendly competitor. He wants the best for all of his teammates, so it's good to see he's doing well.
And Chloe Dapp, a Californian in Newport Beach. I followed her as she grew up in Sabbats, Naples Sabbats. Nicholas Baird, Nick Baird there. Grace Ann Nicolosi, you know, Rookie of the Year at Skipper, I believe, Rookie of the Year in the NISA division, and a great crew. And we mentioned U.S. Sailing Sailor of the Month last month. And then Natalia Doris, I was sitting with her and Ian Barrows last night. They were celebrating their last regatta for Yale last night. Sean Segerbloom, California. Scotty Sinks, California. There you go. So look up your friends. There are some good sailors down there. And so, yes, as we wait for the results for 10A, we'll go through those as well. We want to thank our sponsors, U.S. Sailing and Gill, and you know, just a wonderful opportunity to be here in Charleston to run all three of these nationals in this huge format where we do semifinals and we do finals all in about a week and a half and cover so many races out there. There you go. So you're looking at the A division. Campbell, yep, a little closer than it was. Megan McCrae, great crew there. Erica, very consistent in there. Griner, Sean Cornell, Will Ladow, Pat Snow. Ian Barrows moved down. So in 9th place for our, you know, just amazing guy there. You know, Charles LaLumiere there, Dartmouth. Rebecca McIlvain, Rebecca, San Diego Yacht Club. Shout out to everybody at San Diego Yacht Club. They're just do such a great job out there with Steve Hunt running that Point Loma team, and they have 4 or 5 teams that train out of that San Diego Yacht Club out there, and so they're producing some of the top sailors. Yep, so now we're going to pull up the full scores for you so you can actually look at your team and look at their results. You see that we did get 10 in each. That's an amazing job by the race committee. Georgetown on top. BC, no surprise. Dartmouth, yes, barely in the semis, and now look at them. Charleston, they're hanging. That's 128 to 153. That is 25 points. So in 10 races, that was an average of 2 boats per race. Is that true? No. 1 point per race because it was double the races. So only 1 place per race really behind. Yale, Hobart, Roger Williams, yes, South Florida, good job. Navy, that's the one that, you know, you can see how tight all of those. Navy is, you know, not that far out of third if you really consider 16 races tomorrow, 8 in each division. You know, that's it. If you rate 1 boat per race, that's 36 or 18 points that you can cut out of there quickly. There you go, Stanford, George Washington. So the depth just blows your mind.
Definitely a talented group.
So we just want to thank everybody for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this coverage powered by U.S. Sailing. It's been a pleasure today. We are going to be back tomorrow, so make sure you rally your friends around computers and televisions and at your yacht clubs. Get it up in the bar, get it up in the yacht clubs, and watch that. And on behalf of everybody here at the College of Charleston, Gill, U.S. Sailing, I'm John Rogers.
And I'm Moira Lonergan.
Moira Lonergan from the College of Charleston. Thanks for joining. We'll see you tomorrow morning early.
Gill is the marine enthusiast brand of choice. We make the highest quality marine clothing primarily for the racing and cruising sailor, but also the power boating and fishing community. Our technical clothing will keep you dry, warm, and comfortable in all conditions, from inshore sailing and one-design dinghy class racing to the testing conditions of around-the-world sailing. Gill gets you dressed for it. We exist to simply make the best technical marine wear available on the planet so you can enjoy your time on the water to the fullest.
Go with the Junior Olympic one.
It's Amiibo.